Xerox announces a breakthrough in office technology. Ears to listen to your wants, your needs, to understand your business environment before we try to fit our products into it. It's a startling new concept in the world of office technology. It's also a promise. Until our ears have done their job, we'll keep our mouths closed. We answer to you.
Come on, fellas, let's chomp them.
We'll return to Christmas Comes to Pac-Land after these messages.
This year, I'm not putting Duracell batteries under the trees.
Oh, no! But they play more tapes.
Give you more flashes. Oh.
My mind's made up.
But the toys. Duracell keeps them going up to 6 times longer than regular carbon batteries.
They have to go under the tree.
Nope. This year, I'm putting Duracell in the stocking. Duracell, a great stocking stuffer.
The extra protection of Always Plus. The only maxi with wraparound wings that protect panties like nothing else can. And the patented dry weave covering helps lock wetness in the pad below for the cleanest, driest protection. Discover the extra protection you can only get from Wings. Discover Always Plus.
Get ready, kids.
Wow, look at that.
Cruise the 7 seas aboard the super sub Nautilus with Captain Mark and his fearless crew. Their mission, protect the world's last frontier.
Here come the sharks. And we're right in the middle.
There's a diver caught outside. We'd better act fast. Take the Nautilus to the surface and stand by, Chris.
Fantastic tales in the undersea adventures of Captain Nemo. Global's got it today at 2:30.
I got a whole lot of loving for you, yeah, Mr. Submarine. I got a whole lot for you, a whole lot for you. Mr. Sub got loving for you. Mr. Sub got for you, a whole lot for you. Oh yeah, Mr. Submarine. Mr. Sub got loving for you, a whole lot of loving for you. Mr. Sub got loving for you. Oh yeah, Mr. Submarine.
The Superboc tradition continues. We hear many of you enjoying the original Labatt Superboc for the first time. Find it a refreshing change from your regular beer.
How about a bowl of Rice Krispies?
That's what I like to hear.
Good nutritious eating without a sugar coating.
That's what I like to hear.
How about a bowl of Rice Krispies? To make your smiles appear.
Now you get all of these 7 essential nutrients in Kellogg's Rice Krispies, so you can feel as good about them as your kids do.
Now that's what I like to hear.
Nestled deep in a horse-drawn calash, you enter a different time, a different Montreal, when romance was taken seriously. Jean-Marie's Service de Calèche can take you there, but bring along someone special and bring your Visa card, because at Emery's, they don't take romance lightly, and they don't take MasterCard. Visa, it's everywhere you want to be.
CKCO-TV.
My heart would play, play, play. I never stopped to think when I saw those blue eyes blink.
It's polka time, ladies and gentlemen. 30 minutes of lively music.
Join Walter Ostanak for Polka Time, Sundays at 6:30 on CKCO TV.
YouTube is the new home of NFL Sunday Ticket. Watch all your favorite NFL teams' out-of-market Sunday afternoon games all season long. Now on YouTube and YouTube TV. Sign up now. Terms and embargoes apply.
At Chrysler, a new focus has emerged. Today, it's being driven by technology and warranties that go unmatched. The same will be true tomorrow. It's that simple. Chrysler, changing the landscape.
How much power can you pack into a bookshelf stereo?
Really is hot today.
Oh, sure is. Excuse me. May I interest you gentlemen in a refreshing glass of Mott's Clamato?
Here on the 14th hole?
What a good idea. How? It's easy. I just tapped into the existing plumbing. All I have to do is turn on these taps. Extra spicy out of this one. So that's what those pipes were for.
Mott's Clamato. Now that's a good idea.
I may not win every race, but I still have an advantage over these guys. I use the Gillette Atra. They don't. It has the advantage of a pivoting head. Atra is better than twin-blade razors that don't pivot. See? They don't always stay on my beard, but my Atra pivots to keep both blades on my beard longer. So I get a better shave. Close, comfortable.
Get the Gillette Atra and get the Atra advantage.
Hey, everyone can use a little advantage.
120 years ago, John Labatt brewed his beer slowly in small batches using 100% barley malt. That's how we brew John Labatt Classic today. Pure beer. It's Kreuzen Brew, one of the longest aged beers in the world. It may cost a little more than ordinary beers, but because of the man, it's brewed without compromise. John Labatt Classic.
Sinkable? Unthinkable. The unsinkable taste of Cheerios. Not a lot of sugar to weigh down, no. Cheerios. See how the blood don't keeping them down. So he can't, she can't, you can't sing the unsinkable taste of Cheerios. Not a lot of sugar to weigh down those Cheerios. The unsinkable taste of Cheerio.
Hi, folks. I'm Martha Ray. You know, I was never embarrassed about coming on TV and telling people I wore dentures. That's me. Tell it like it is. And now I'd like to tell you, there's a powerful polident for us denture wearers, a super strength polident. Look, a mean food and coffee stain. Even that's no match for the cleaning power of my super strength polident. It gets mean stains clean, even in between. I think every denture wearer should use it.
Has tough dirt and grease found a home on your range? There's a new gun in town, new Mr. Clean Magic Spray. Watch it in a shootout with your all-purpose spray. Your spray cleans but leaves streaks you have to rinse off. New Magic Spray cleans to a shine the very first time. Magic's no-streak formula takes on glass, too.
I sure cleaned up this town.
New Mr. Clean Magic Spray cleans to a shine the very first time.
Children, let's take a test. Oh, this one is easy. Name a soft drink with no caffeine.
7-Up!
And one with natural clear color.
7-Up!
And with natural flavors.
7-Up!
Now, which soft drink has a clean, refreshing, unspoiled taste?
7-Up! Marvelous!
I could not have said it better myself.
Don't you feel good about 7-Up?
I'd rather be in my Lazy Boy.
Lazy Boy recliners come in many styles and fabrics, including genuine leather.
Fantastic. Left. Will work with me. Beautiful. Right over here. Have a seat.
I'd rather be in my Lazy Boy sofa.
Lazy Boy sofas. Style and comfort, too. Insist on genuine Lazy Boy comfort, quality, and style in recliners, sleep sofas, and sofas.
Putting cars through their paces like this is what gives us the confidence to back our vehicles with the best warranty in the business. That's the Mazda way. Is there any other way?
Welcome, everyone. Hope everybody's having a wonderful weekend. It's about to wrap up for you 9 to 5ers, Monday through Friday, Friday Friars. Just going to play that off like as if I didn't make a mistake there. Yeah, that's the ticket. Anyway, I hope everybody's doing well. So real quick before I get started, I did put up a community post. The link is still there. Listen, if anybody here is interested in the John O'Keefe, Karen Reed case, anybody at all, if anybody's interested in that, and you're too damn lazy to read documents, and I don't blame you because it's a shit ton of documents. It is a lot, and you'd rely on YouTubers for information, which is something that I don't normally recommend. But if you rely on YouTubers to provide you with said information, well, you need to go over to Chasing Truths, Tracy Ann Chasing's channel. Her and oh my God, that I feel like a dick because that one creator is escaping me. Oh my God, I forgot her name. Not Dietz. Dietz is over there too. Now Dietz and Tracy Ann have done an incredible job of researching. Gavel Geeks, thank you guys. Sorry, Gavel Geeks. I feel like a dick. Sorry about that. Brain fart. That's all it was. It's just a brain fart. Or Jenny, thank you. So make sure to check that out because they are going over everything. They just did like a 3-hour live, and I think Tracy Ann mentioned that like maybe like a sixth of the way through. So yeah, literally like everything that's available in this case. So if you are interested in true crime and you're interested in facts and facts only, not rumors, not gossip, please go over there and check it out. These ladies worked really, really, really hard on their presentation. They worked really hard on their research, and they just did an amazing job today. I was enthralled the entire time that I could be in there. Oh, Gavel Geeks, thank you. Okay, there she is. Sorry. But and there's Dietz. Welcome. So yeah, they did an amazing job. So please go on over there. Like, if just you gotta understand, like right now there's, and I'm not starting a shit talking thing here. I'm just saying right now, because of TurtleBoy getting arrested, there is a lot of rumors flying around. There's a lot of speculation. There's a lot of finger pointing, and I believe in a comment, the analogy that I used is the leaky, seeping shit is seeping out of the diaper of the drama community and into the crime community, and then that's how these cases turn into drama. Let's try to avoid that. Now, if you enjoy the drama, that's cool. Nobody's saying not to enjoy that. I'm saying understand the difference between fact and rumor. Okay, go. If you want to enjoy the rumors, that's fine, but please do not base your opinions on the rumors that you hear. Base them on the facts. Please, that is all that I ask of you. Simply just base your opinions on facts. Just so you know, that's just, I implore you. And as far as any channel that I've seen that has gone over and plans on continuing to do so, gone over the facts so meticulously, so far it's been Dietz and I know Gavel Geeks and Tracy Ann, and I know that Tracy Ann and Dietz on the Street have been following this case since it broke initially. And so just do yourself a favor and pay attention to those people who are obsessed with getting the details correct. That's the best way you're going to educate yourself. And the link to, I think I put it in the description, the link to Sleuthy Goosey's basically her Karen Reed case textbook. It is, I believe the link is in the description. If not, then I'll go ahead here. I'll share it here. And I appreciate Sleuthy Goosey for putting that together. Like, that's, I don't even understand like what is happening with your brain. Like, I worry that somebody with a human brain is capable of putting something like that together. But I'm grateful for it because it has helped me abundantly. So thank you, Tracy, not Tracy, for becoming a YouTube member. I appreciate that. And Be Real, member for 7 months. Thanks for calling out these creators. Always, this is what I do. But we're not going to make that about that tonight. Out of respect for certain creators who I'm going to review today, who actually try their best to stay out of that sort of thing. Because I before I get into the TurtleBoy stuff, I am going to before I get into the TurtleBoy stuff, I'm gonna go over a Duty Ron stream that recently took place, and his thoughts on what's going on with the Summer Wells case. Now, normally I don't tag Summer Wells in my titles if I discuss it, unless there are updates. There are no updates, but the reason why I tagged it is because I think it's important to discuss Duty Ron's thoughts on this, because Duty Ron is an experienced law enforcement investigator. He is a former homicide detective for the NYPD. He's a retired, I should say retired, not former, but retired homicide detective for the NYPD. And I feel his opinions are valid. And I feel, and his opinions may not coincide with mine or yours, but I think that they merit being listened to and heeded to some degree. So I'm going to go over his stream because he made some interesting points. And I can tell that Duty Ron is actually very emotional about this case, as many of us are. I know that Tracy Ann is very emotional about it and has done quite a bit for this case. So I'm going to go ahead and go over this. I'm going to skip his intro. So a little joke, little kind of ongoing joke is people have said that Duty Ron has stolen my intro. Nothing could be further from the truth. I just want to make that abundantly clear. I have been clear about this before. The only thing is, okay, listen, for those of us who don't really know how to edit, okay, like me, okay, I went ahead and I used this little, very simple program on iMovie that does all of the editing for me. So basically, it did all of the editing for me. The editing was already in place, and all I had to do was just use that little thing and just add just a little bit, just a dash of imagination for my intro. And that's all it took. Honestly, just a little bit of time and a little bit of imagination. And since it was in the format of a movie trailer, I took little movies and I put my face on some of the characters in these movies, and then, and made this intro that I did. Whoever made Duty Ron's, whether it was him or a mod for him, made his intro. They used the same program and just added a lot of other cool stuff about Duty Ron. So no, nobody stole anything. We just happened to use the same program to make our intros. That's all. I'm going to go ahead and play this. I haven't listened to the entire thing. Now, we are going to be here a while. I got plenty of coffee and I got plenty of creamer, and I won't be surprised if I end up having to make a second pot of coffee. So I hope you guys are comfortable.
So, girls, you know the drill. I'm a retired New York City police detective, and if you like all things true crime related,
now the link to this live, okay? The link to this live stream is in the description. I made sure to put it there, and please take a moment to go and give it a like. Please, if you're not subscribed to Duty Ron, subscribe to Duty Ron. I think it's really important when we have former law enforcement investigators who have YouTube channels and use their time to educate people in the true crime community, and add their insight that is based on their very vast experience. Duty Ron is a very experienced law enforcement investigator, and I think that his insight is extremely valuable in this community. So please subscribe to him. And make sure to hit the like.
From the police detective's perspective, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, so you'll get all things Duty Ron and Ed Wallace when he's available, when we go live or upload another video. Hey, today I want to talk to you about Summer Wells. Summer Wells' case is something that's near and dear to my heart, and I believe all of our hearts here on YouTube in the true crime community. She went missing on June 15th of 2021. We are now past 2 years, and no new information, no press conferences from TBI or Hawkins County Sheriffs. We're hearing nothing. It's crickets. I wanted to get your thoughts today.
Now, fair warning, people, you will hear Duty Ron give a little criticism towards the Hawkins County Sheriff's Department, maybe even the TBI. And here's the thing. I would always normally criticize anyone who criticizes the law enforcement agencies that are charged with the responsibility of finding Summer. Normally, I would criticize anybody who criticizes them. But the thing is Duty Ron is an experienced investigator. His opinion matters. Therefore, I am nobody to criticize his criticism of any law enforcement agencies and how they handle an investigation. I want to be very clear about that. So those of you who are going to jump to a conclusion, go, why aren't you calling Duty Ron out? Well, because he's a cop. So that's why I'm not calling him out.
Today, is this a cold case?
Recordings just got better.
Oh.
Hey, it's Dana from StreamYard. I'm so excited to announce that.
Is this a case that's still
being ran out? I haven't renewed it yet. Sorry, guys.
Being investigated by authorities? I hope and pray that it is still being investigated, but it damn sure seems like a cold case to me. And I've been around this business for a long time. But I wanted to, just before I get into this video, I wanted to just say thank you to all of my Patreon supporters, the channel members, the folks who buy cups of coffee for Ed and I, all of the mods and replay viewers, the people who give it a thumbs up and leave comments in the comment section, the live chatters, the folks who follow us on social media. I want to say thank you to you guys, because without you, we got nothing. Ed Wallace and I have had a rough week. I'm just getting over a really nasty upper respiratory and sinus infection. I'm still not 100%. I'm giving it. I'm pushing this one out because it's been a long time. It's actually been 7 days since I've gone live with Ed, and I wanted to just come on here.
Dude, let me tell you, man, those sinus infections are a bitch. I went through one of those a few months ago, and I was like, oh my God. Like, I was just fucking like spraying saline into my nose in the shower. It was so bad. It was so bad.
Wife Margaret is coming home from the hospital today, so that's great news. My wife Janine was involved in a rear end collision on Wednesday. She's feeling good. The car is messed up, but it's just a piece of property. It's an item that can be fixed or replaced. Can't replace a life. And that's why I'm thankful that Margaret, Ed's wife, she's gone through surgery, emergency surgery, and she's on her way home sometime today. And my wife is home here, and God is good, you know. And I have to say, the folks of in Israel and innocent civilians that are in the process of going through a very bad time in Hamas. I'm not even, listen, I'm going to be as politically correct as possible with this, but my bottom line feeling is there's innocent victims on both sides. These Hamas terrorists are evil people, slaughtering men, women, children, cutting heads off of little babies. Doesn't get any worse than that. But my thoughts and prayers are obviously with the innocent victims on both sides of this thing. War is never good. But let's get right into Summer Wells. Summer Wells.
Yeah, I was going to say, Duty
5
Ron,
years young.
Don't get me started on that shit.
Reported missing by her family, by her mom and dad, June 15th, 2021. She turned 7 on February 4th of 2023. She would have been 7 years old. I want to get your thoughts on what you guys feel, and really don't hold back. Do you feel that this is a cold case? In the chat, put in the chat. If you feel it's a cold case, put a 1. If you feel that it's still being investigated, put a 2. I'm just curious to see how many people.
And y'all can do that here if you like. And welcome Dawn Marie. Dawn Marie is a moderator for Duty Ron. She's always welcome here.
Feel like the authorities and Hawkins County sheriffs and the TBI and the FBI, do you feel that they're still investigating it? I have a sinking feeling that there's not a lot going on in this case. So I see a lot of number 1s in the chat, and I'm with you guys. I'm with you guys on this. And it's sad. It's sad because I explained to you in a previous live stream with Dave Rader, that's the EquiSearch Midwest director of EquiSearch Midwest, who went out and went down to the Beach Creek community in Hawkins County, and they searched for Summer Wells. And I told you guys about 2 months ago that that I was going to contact the Hawkins County Sheriff's Department, just as I did when they went back there that second time, EquiSearch Midwest.
Now, again, people, I want to be very clear about something. Do not contact the Hawkins County Sheriff's Department or the TBI unless you have a credible tip on Summer's whereabouts or what happened to her. The only reason that I am not criticizing Duty Ron for doing so is because he has genuine insight through genuine experience. So therefore, he is a different story. I'm not going to criticize Duty Ron for doing that, but any of you people who think you're sleuths, do not do that. Okay?
Midwest. And I was going to reach out to them, and I did. And I'm going to let you know what the results of that, the communication. I made 2 attempts to communicate, but I'm going to let you know tomorrow with Ed Wallace, myself, and Dave Rader. We're going to do a live tomorrow, hopefully, if all the stars align right, and if Dave Rader is available. We're going to continue this conversation tomorrow, and I'm going to let you know what the results were of my communication with the Hawkins County Sheriff's Department. Marlena Cantu says, according to TBI, it's still active. But let me ask you this. According to TBI, it's still active. But what have we heard from the TBI? Have we heard anything from the TBI as far as updates and things of that nature? I don't care if they don't have any new.
Now, remember, the first year of Summer Wells going missing, the TBI did hold a press conference. It was a very disheartening press conference because they were very clear that one of the reasons why that they are not getting anywhere in this case is because of all the rumors and speculation that takes place online, mostly on YouTube, people. I've criticized many of these channels. Many of these channels I have reviewed and criticized. And I've said this every single time that I've done it. And then this year, on the 2-year mark, June of this year, we did not get any type of press conference. I think we got some very loose statements saying, yeah, we're still on it. But I have to agree with Duty Ron. I think maybe, we should get a better update. I understand not being able to give full details on an ongoing investigation. I wouldn't want them to do that, but I think it's fair to want at least some level of some token of effort from them, some reassurance in some particular detail that does not interfere or somehow sabotage their investigation, to the public, to reassure those of us who truly care about Summer and want her found.
New information, but at least keep the public interest. Keep this girl's name out there.
Exactly.
Keep her face out there. They did this age progression photo, and I'm just going to show you this little piece real quick here. I'm going to show you this little piece, and then we'll be right back.
Thursday, we bring you a missing persons case from across the country. And today we have an update to a case we have covered before that has gripped the attention of people from all over the world.
I'm going to stop it here because this is a great comment. So they said they're not going to show their hands, the TBI. They're not showing anything. Never mind show their hands. Listen, everybody that knows me here, I'm going to put myself back on now because this was a good one. Everybody that knows me knows that, and Ed and all of us former law enforcement, we don't like to give out any extra information. You cannot tip your hand, obviously. But what I'm talking about is if you don't have a lot to go on, we lean on the public to help us. They're not even making attempts to even talk about Summer Wells, period.
See, again, I agree with him on this because we need to maintain the public's interest, and the strongest people to do that for channels like me, for channels like Duty Ron, for channels that simply just want Summer found, who actually are still holding out hope that she's out there somewhere. The best people to get that hope from would be the investigators that are charged with the responsibility of finding her. Getting that type of reassurance from those agencies would be extremely helpful in that, because right now the general consensus on the internet is that Summer was killed by her parents, or at least disposed of by her parents. Therefore, as I've said many times, and I'm going to say many times more, whenever this happens with a missing persons case, especially a child, whenever this happens with a missing persons case and this general consensus goes around, the general narrative is that that person is deceased, no longer with us. That's dangerous because people stop hoping. And when you stop hoping, you stop looking. You stop keeping your eyes open for it. And then you're just concerned with your brain. Your brain just gets concerned with the whole whodunit. And that's very dangerous. And Summer deserves better than that. There is absolutely no evidence of anything in regards to Summer Wells that has been made public. We have no idea what happened. There is nothing to actually speculate on other than rumors and bullshit. There is literally nothing to speculate on. So the responsible thing to do, the Christian thing to do, would be to assume that she is still alive and out there somewhere scared and depending on all of us to find her, depending on the law enforcement agencies that are tasked with the responsibility of finding her. That is extremely important. So when the general consensus is that she's gone, well, then that means that nobody's looking. Imagine that's your little girl out there, scared. Think about that.
It is crickets. Radio silence is never good. We sometimes say in investigations, when you're getting close, it gets quieter. But this quiet, this silence from TBI and Hawkins County, it's almost like Summer Wells has been forgotten about. And they're not even doing any kind of updates. There's no press release. There's no conversations. There's no articles. I searched all the local articles of all the news outlets and so forth in Hawkins County and in the surrounding counties, Sullivan County. I looked all around for a blurb or piece on Summer Wells. It's like.
Thank you, Patricia Sell, for gifting memberships. Congrats to Lane Doom, Runs with Scissors, Lisa Oldham's, Roses Are Red, and Tessa. Thank you so much, Patricia Sell. I appreciate that.
Like she doesn't exist anymore. And that's the vibe I get. I don't know. Let me know in the comments. Let me know what you think.
Today marks 2 years since a little girl in Tennessee vanished from her rural home. Her name is Summer Wells, and what you're seeing here is a brand new age progression photo from the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation. This is what Summer.
What do you all think of that aged progression photo, the progression photo? I think she looks like she's 9 years old in this age progression photo. I am going to have our NYPD sketch artist come back on and take a peek at this photo. And we had him on, retired NYPD detective Stephen Mancusi.
Now, that's why I put the age progression photo in the thumbnail, because, I mean, it's the closest thing that we got right now, folks. It's the best thing that we can do. I don't know how accurate it is. I don't know, but it's all we got, guys. So that's why I put it in the thumbnail. Joey Brooklyn, welcome, buddy. It's good to see you.
Unbelievable.
And you too,
talent.
Donna Marie, thank you for being here.
He came on for the Sincere and Classic Orrin and Orson West case, and he came on and did an hour and a half with us. If those of you are in the chat, if you remember NYPD sketch artist Stephen Mancusi, when he came on with me, if you remember that live stream, let me know in the chat. Let me know if you saw that live. The guy is brilliant. He's going to come on and we're going to take a look at that photo together.
Okay. Be Real, thank you for gifting a membership. Appreciate that. And congrats to Kathy Pease. Let's talk about it. Appreciate it. I'm not going to do the super chat song during this. Okay. That's more for the comedy related streams. But I do appreciate the super chat. Kill Shot Report. Thank you so much. Keep crushing it like a rock star, brother. Love you, buddy. P.S. Make them dance. I'm not doing it, man. Well, you know what? Since you asked, but I'm just this one time, folks. Just this one time. Okay? Just this once. I'm going to make them dance.
I think we got a super dad. Super dad. I think we got a super dad. Super dad. Super dad. Super dad.
think we got a super chat. I think we got a super chat.
All right. That's it, though, guys. So if you super chat, I appreciate it, but no more dancing. It's not happening on this stream. Just letting you know.
Together, and we'll give his analysis of it.
At least not while I'm covering Summer Wells and Duty Ron talking about her. At least not then. Maybe when we get into the Turtle Boy stuff. Leslie Kohler gifted 5 memberships. Thank you so much. Cammy was gifted a membership. Thank you. Congrats. Bobby Swain, Vit, Cheesy Weezy, Miss Donna Marie. All right. Congrats, guys.
Look like today. She'd be 7 years old. She was 5 when she disappeared. All of the attention on Summer's case has led to dead-end tips for investigators, even harassment towards her parents. Now law enforcement are tight-lipped about what they know about the case.
Here's one thing you need to do before buying anything online. Don't spend another dime on Amazon until you watch
case. Summer's father sat down with News Nation to keep his daughter's case in the headlines. This is Summer Wells. The 5-year-old lived at this house in Rogersville, Tennessee, a tight-knit community of less than 5,000 people. On June 15th, 2021, her parents say Summer was helping plant flowers with her mom and grandmother.
She wanted to go into the house. My wife watched her go into the door, and she went into the house, and the boys were on the internet, of course. She wanted to go downstairs to play with her boys.
I yelled downstairs for her a couple times, and I didn't get no answer, which was unusual. And so I went down there to check, and she was nowhere in sight.
2 years after her parents, Don and Candace Wells, gave those accounts, that's still all we know about the last time.
Coincidentally, that interview, our good friend, Dr. G Explains, I asked him to look into that full interview with Candace and Don. I'm going to send them the links to that full interview, and I'm going to have him do body language. I know many people have done the body language.
Yeah, Gregor Smith. If you were here when I covered her last, and I showed that footage, I think that's why you're bringing her up. That was her parents who she was accusing through a bullhorn and getting them fired from their job. That was Summer Wells' parents. So yes, she thinks that she's doing this case, but she's just doing more damage to it. She's exactly a perfect example, one of many examples of people who have put this case in the stagnant state that it's in right now, according to the TBI.
On that, but I'd like to get other eyes and other people's thoughts on it. So I'm hoping to do a quick collaboration with Dr. G.
Now, Duty Ron does touch on this a little bit, by the way. So
he explains and get his thoughts, because I know we can all appreciate his expertise when it comes to body language analysis, and I'd like to get his thoughts and his take on that. So that's coming soon.
Summer was seen. Almost immediately, Summer's parents became the center of a police investigation.
Summer's parents, Candace and Dawn, had something to do with this, or have you ruled that out?
We haven't ruled anything out. Everything's possible.
Could she have gotten herself into a situation where it wasn't her fault, but
no,
you know what I mean?
No, she's a good mother. She loves her children. She's not going to allow any situation like that. The biggest mistake she might have made is maybe choosing some wrong friends, which is, it happens.
Don.
Who here feels in the chat that Don and his wife have full knowledge of what happened to Summer Wells? If you feel that they do, press a 1. If you feel that they don't, press a 2. I'm not even going to give a third option. It's either yes or no. Either, do you feel that they have something to do with it or some knowledge of what happened on that day? And, Candace was with that young 16-year-old Hunter as well. We never really heard the results of the TBI interview with Hunter, the full results of what that interview went like? How does that look? What information, if any, did he give them?
Now, I want to be clear. There has been no, and I've said this many, many times, okay? This is just my opinion. And you guys are perfectly welcome to your opinions. Duty Ron is welcome to his opinions. We're allowed to disagree here, and it is fine, okay? So just because I may not agree with you, it's okay. But I want to be very clear. There is absolutely no evidence made public that indicates that Don or Candace Wells had anything to do with Summer Wells' disappearance. I'm going to be very clear about that. That is what I'm basing my opinion on, okay? Now, there's going to be some things that he's going to say about Don and Candace that I do agree with, okay? And I have told Don and Candace these things to their face on this channel during live streams. They have paneled up with me here, and I have spoken to them and given them a piece of my mind, both of them, on more than one occasion. But I do not have any reason, none whatsoever, at least not yet. I do not have any reason to believe that Don or Candace had anything to do with Summer's disappearance. I will explain why later. I will elaborate, I should say. Welcome, Gavel Geeks. Welcome to the lady.
Just so many things swirling around. But Candace and Don have not done themselves any kind of favors by parading themselves all over the internet late at night on YouTube, on all different social platforms, making themselves look like complete and utter buffoons.
I agree.
Drunken, drug-induced, high as a kite on YouTube, on everybody and anybody's show that they would allow them to come on. It was like a circus. That is not indicative of what good parents should be doing when their daughter is.
Now, with respect, I believe that this is the dad side of Duty Ron expressing this opinion more than the cop side of Duty Ron. Okay, that's just my opinion, and that is no disrespect to him. But when it comes to his opinion of Don and Candace right now and what he's expressing, I believe that's more coming from the parental side of his paternal side of him, that is expressing these opinions, and that's okay. That's absolutely okay. But I just want to be clear about that. That's my opinion.
Is, as they say, snatched up off their property. They go with the abduction theory 100%. That's not how parents should be acting and carrying themselves while their daughter is just out there.
Right. I mean, I agree with that 100%. Totally.
Wells pleaded guilty to driving under the influence last year. Candace also filed an order of protection against him, but asked for it to be dismissed. He now faces criminal charges in 3 states, including a domestic assault arrest in 2020. 2 years later, investigators have not charged either Don or his wife in connection to Summer's disappearance.
Everybody makes mistakes, and we all have to learn and go on.
This is an ongoing theory too, Parody Patty. And with respect, I want to be clear. There's no evidence to indicate this. I want to be very clear. You'll never hear me speculate on what did or did not happen to Summer Wells. You'll never hear me do that. And the reason why that is because there's no evidence to go off of. There are no facts to go off of. I mean, we just have their statements. We have, and then the rest is just a bunch of rumors and just a mess, a spaghetti pile, if you will, of rumors and speculation to sift through. And somewhere in there is a little speck of a meatball, which is the truth. That's what this case has become. And it's just a mess. And I don't feel the responsible thing for me to do, who is not a law enforcement investigator in any way, shape, or form. I'm not a mental health professional in any way, shape, or form. None of these things. Well, a lot of things would make sense, Parody Patty. But I get what you're saying. I'm very careful not to speculate on the Summer Wells case because I don't have enough facts to speculate off of. I'm very careful to not do that.
We're doing better. So it's still very rough for my wife.
Don.
And this was under a recent interview. He said everyone makes mistakes and we have to learn and move on. These two don't learn from their mistakes. They just continue to flop and fall and continue to do the same repetitive, toxic, addictive behavior. And
I agree.
I don't care what anybody says. You can come at me all you want, all day, every day. I call it as I see it. These are unfit parents.
I mean, he's not wrong.
If you think that they're fit parents, if you think that Don and Candace Wells are fit parents, you need to take a hard look at yourself, because they have displayed on YouTube and on the internet what kind of buffoons they are. And I'm being kind. I'm not using this word. I'm not using the jagaloon word. I'm just saying they're carrying on like complete and utter buffoons.
I agree. Now, here's the flip side to that coin. Okay. This is what I'll say about that. I think that, and no one can dispute the fact that I agree with him as far as how they behave on the internet, because I reached my limit over a year ago. And I had Don and Candace both separate times, but had them both each on this panel. And I told them, stay the fuck off the internet, because you're not doing this case any good. You're not doing yourselves any favors. And I also got to a point, maybe just under a year ago, maybe, where I told Don, or I publicly at least stated, that neither one of them are welcome on this channel anymore. Because this is what I believe their presence on the internet has done. Okay? There are dozens, at least a dozen channels out there, big channels, small channels, doesn't matter, that are pushing the narrative that Don and Candace have done something to Summer and are responsible for her disappearance. And Don and or Candace will go on these channels. And then what happens is they say something, they're intoxicated, then they say something, and then they say another thing. And then what happens is they give these channels, these leech parasite channels, fuel, ammunition. And they take what these parents of this missing child say, and they twist them to fit their narrative. And all it does is give those shit channels ammunition. And then more rumors and more speculation spin, which is exactly what's causing the TBI to have a harder time being able to find what happened to Summer. It's just, it's indisputable. This is a fact. This isn't a theory. It is a fact, because all of these idiots who think that they're armchair detectives, they think that they're detectives, they think that they're experienced investigators, they think they're smarter than experienced investigators, then they go and they want to be heroes, and they take their bullshit theories and they call 1-800-TBI-FIND. And then when they call 1-800-TBI-FIND, they waste resources, very limited resources. And those very limited resources, they have to follow up on every tip. They can't just ignore them. They cannot sit there when there is a missing child. They can't sit there and go, yeah, whatever, and hang up. They have to follow up on it. And those are resources, very limited resources, that are spent on following up on a bullshit tip from some asshole who thinks they know better than an investigator. And this happens constantly.
It's more than a circus. It's more than a circus.
Wells sat down with News Nation to talk about where the case stands today. His wife had an order of protection against him, but asked for it to be dismissed. He now faces criminal charges in 3 states, including a domestic assault arrest in 2020. 2 years later, investigators have not charged either Don or his wife in connection to Summer's disappearance.
Everybody makes mistakes, and we all have to learn and go on. We're doing better. It's still very rough for my wife.
Don Wells sat down with News Nation to talk about where the case stands today. His wife hasn't sat down for an interview since this appearance on Dr. Phil in 2021, where she walked out of an interview in Texas.
No, I'm being interrogated again, and I don't want to do this. Yes, I am.
We'll stop. I want you to feel comfortable.
Since Summer's disappearance, Don says their life has been consumed by harassment from people online who believe they're responsible for whatever happened to Summer.
Before you know it, you're getting a mob going. My wife could go to the store and somebody would scream at her, baby killer.
He sent us videos from one of his
Look at that fucking idiot. I'm so glad she got kicked off YouTube.
job sites where some people were demanding to speak with them about
morons. Morons.
These are more jagalones. These very same
boy.
people that are out here carrying on like this are mentally unstable themselves. and that's most pathetic part of the whole thing is that
absolutely, Duty Ron.
This circus on YouTube and these clowns that have followed Don around with the cameras and everything, these are the most bizarrely twisted up people. They're like misery loves company, and they're all together. And when I saw this, I couldn't help but just say to myself, how ironic.
Don says it's gotten so bad he had to leave the state. Now the two live in a motel in Arkansas, where Don was able to find a new job. As for Summer's case, Don says they have private investigators working with police. The Hawkins County Sheriff's Office is still working alongside the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation. Both agencies declined to give us an interview. Don says
News Nation, this was great that they did this on that 2-year mark, right? News Nation did a great job of covering this. But the footage that they're showing here is all from 2021. And none of it is in 2022, and none of it is from 2023. And what they failed to do in this piece is to show the public that the TBI and the Hawkins County Sheriff's Department are not doing any of what they're showing here. There's no more searching. There's no more ground searching. There's no more drone searching going on. I'm talking officially by the police. There may be private individuals that are throwing up drones and doing stuff, but there's no concentrated effort to search in additional areas. And there's so much property and ground to cover. There's so much additional ground and property to cover that how do you give up on a 5-year-old girl that went missing in 2021? How do you give up? How do you just say, I'm going to throw the towel in? I don't comprehend that. I don't. Jeff Litweiler says, can I say
now in all fairness, the TBI has not said that they've thrown the towel in. They've said the opposite. Hawkins County Sheriff's Department as well. Ronnie Lawson from the Hawkins County Sheriff's Department has said the opposite. But what Duty Ron is calling out is what they're saying versus what he's seeing. In his experience as an investigator, Duty Ron is saying, I'm not seeing this. They're saying that they're searching, but why is this not happening? Why am I not seeing it? Why are we not getting some sort of token of effort to the public to reassure us, to keep Summer's name out there, to keep her face out there? Why are we not getting this? Why do we only get the minimum on the anniversary of her disappearance each year? That's basically what Duty Ron is criticizing. And I don't blame him. And his opinion is absolutely valid, being an experienced investigator.
Say jagaloons, evil son of a bitches? Yeah, So it's really very discouraging. And again, we're going to continue to cover it. We're going to continue to keep her name out there and her face. This is just so down. It's so just disheartening. It really makes you downhearted when you see the lack of any kind of coverage in even the local town crier papers. None of them are even making a blurb of it, you know?
He hasn't learned anything new from police, but has sent us videos. He had to leave the state. Now the two live in.
Patricia Sell gifted 5 more memberships. Thank you, Patricia Sell. It's very kind. Stitching with Sisterlies, Gregor Smith. Congrats. Jennifer Anderson, Phoenix Rising. Congrats, guys. Thank you so much. I hope I didn't miss anybody. Did I miss anybody? I don't think I did. Chrissy F. Here we go.
Live in a motel in Arkansas, where Don was able to find a new job. As for Summer's case, Don says they have private investigators working with police. The Hawkins County Sheriff's Office is still working alongside the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation. Both agencies declined to give us an interview.
Now, I'm going to plan very soon a members-only stream. I want to do something special for my members. I can't computer worth a shit. So I haven't figured out how to make these emojis. Every time they're like, it's the wrong file size, and it won't let me upload these emojis. And I feel like the least I could do is get you guys those emojis. But since I can't figure out how to do that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start planning some members only streams just for you members. It's the least I could do for you guys. So I'm going to be doing that very soon. I just wanted to let you guys know.
Don says he hasn't learned anything new from police, but has always said he believes Summer was abducted. In the past, the sheriff said there's no evidence that happened.
Nothing pointing to abduction, nothing pointing to foul play, other than her walking outside the house and not being found.
There was also a key tip from a neighbor in 2021. A woman and her teen children told police they heard a scream about an hour before Summer went missing.
I wish every day that when I heard that scream, I hadn't tried to dismiss it.
But the sheriff said after multiple interviews, that tip led nowhere. One clue they're still looking for is a pickup truck seen in the area around the time Summer vanished. It's described as a red or maroon Toyota truck with ladders on the back. Even if it's found, police aren't sure if the truck is connected to the case.
I do have hope, whatever the outcome is.
Now, real quick, let me talk about that for a second, because a lot of people are. I heard a lot of stuff going, oh, well, it sounds like a construction truck. Don works construction. He probably had somebody he worked with go and pick up Summer, blah, blah, blah. We don't know if that truck is even connected to the case. They just happen to be seen in the area, and the truck was wanted simply for questioning. And questioning does not mean that they are suspect. Questioning means, you know, they want to find out if they saw anything. That's how that would go. Number two, everyone in that area works construction. It's in their blood. Everyone in that area, everyone in that part of Tennessee and most parts of Tennessee, most rural parts of Tennessee, they have jobs where you work with your hands, whether it be some sort of labor job. Okay. In Don's case, his area of expertise is particularly drywall. So, and this is just a very, very common thing. So it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean they're connected to Don in any way, shape, or form. It doesn't even mean that they know anything.
I have hope in God. One day, either sooner or later, I will be with my daughter again.
The sheriff declined an interview in the case. He did email us, though, saying he expects an update on the case in the near future.
The sheriff declined an opportunity to go on News Nation to talk about the case. But I'm going to back it up just a little bit.
Also, Don and
hold on, I'm going to back
Candace
it up.
have 3 board review in.
Now, here's the thing.
The sheriff declined an interview.
News Nation, you've heard me say this 100 times, and I'm always going to say it. News Nation is a tabloid news source, people. News Nation is not the most legitimate of news sources. It's full of opinions, and it's full of people they have panelists on there who I don't find to be credible at all based on some of their Twitter feeds. Jennifer Coffendoffer, for instance, being one of those. Not a fan of hers. Not a fan of hers at all. Because I'm following her on Twitter and she is talking out of her ass. But if News Nation is the only news source right now that's actually trying to put Summer's name out there, why would they decline an interview with them? I mean, so what? Who gives a shit if it's People? Who gives a shit if it's the National Enquirer? If that's an opportunity to get Summer's name and face out there, and they have a lot of viewers, they should be up there talking to them. They should not be declining interviews with them.
Interview in the case. He did email us, though, saying he expects an update on the case in the near future. Also, Don and Candace have 3 boys. They were taken by Child Services a month after Summer's disappearance. Don says they have not been allowed to talk to their boys in half a year.
Well, again, for me, a total disheartening experience here, because you have a Hawkins County sheriff who had an opportunity to now go on News Nation, where they're putting out a respectable piece of news media, where you're going to just get more people's interest back in this case that have forgotten about it. Let's face the facts here, ladies and gentlemen, and I thank all of you for being here. I thank you guys for
Oh, I'm muted. Sorry about that. Baton Rouge. You're saying, wasn't it around the time Larson's son? Sorry, it's not Larson, it's Lawson. Lawson's son was pleading on his SA charges, maybe keeping a low profile in case he was asked about that. Now, a couple things about that. A, I never heard of any SA charges. I'm not saying they didn't happen. I just didn't hear about them. And B, you could easily say, this is what I'll talk about and this is what I won't talk about. Simple, very simple. So that's no excuse as to not agreeing to address the public as far as where you're at in your investigation without revealing too much. That would somehow sabotage their investigation, somehow mess up their investigation. So, yeah, I don't. I get what you're saying. In theory, that would make sense, but if it's a sit-down interview that's pre-recorded and is going to be aired later, he can absolutely dictate what he's going to be willing to answer questions on and what he's not going to answer questions on. That's no excuse for him to not address the public as to where they're at in the Summer Wells case and what their efforts are.
For sharing and giving this video a thumbs up and putting it into the Facebook groups that follow Summer Wells and the Summer Wells case, and sharing it onto your social media platform.
Now, guys, the link to this live stream is in the description. So just take a second and click on that and give this video that I'm playing a like. It's Duty Ron. Make sure to subscribe to him if you're not subscribed already. But also, like I said, give that video that I'm playing a like. The link is in the description.
Platforms, because the more people who know about it, and like I'm trying to say here, is that was a missed opportunity by Sheriff Ronnie Lawson. Why would you say no after not speaking about Summer Wells or having any news coverage on her case for extended period of time? Why would you say no to it? And why would you say no to EquiSearch Midwest coming out and searching the same areas and searching them over again, or searching new areas? Why would you say no to a proven search organization like EquiSearch Midwest? Why? To me, it just doesn't make any sense. What do you have to lose? You have nothing to lose by having more people that are that are trained. That is all they do. Why would you say to them, no, you can't come? It just doesn't compute. And I hope everybody understands how frustrating.
I mean, for real, it's frustrating for me. Like I'm not a big channel like Duty Ron, you know, but I'm one of the only people who uses my content to try to discredit the channels that spin false narratives in regards to this case. If not the only channel, but I'm one of the only channels that gets down in the mud and does everything I can to discredit those channels that don't deserve any credit when they are absolutely mucking up an ongoing investigation with rumors and speculation. And it's an uphill battle. And you guys watch it because, you know, I make jokes, I make it funny and entertaining. Sure, that's great. But the thing is I could really use the occasional statement from Hawkins County. I could use the occasional statement from the TBI to back up what I'm doing, to discredit these rumors and and to discredit all these rumors and the irresponsible speculation that they themselves have said is the reason why they haven't gotten anywhere in this case. I mean, with the Idaho case, I mean, when it comes to the Idaho case, I mean, they were law enforcement was putting out daily statements, man. Daily statements discrediting rumors. That was a very productive thing. Prior to the gag order, they were putting out daily statements saying, nope, we're hearing this on the internet. I want us to go ahead and say that's absolutely not true. They did this on a daily basis to try to control this so that they could produce results. And they have produced results. Now we just got to see what happens in trial. But I mean, it's crazy to me. Why wouldn't they do something to try to control some of the speculation and the rumors?
Frustrated and how angry that makes me is that you're turning away extra eyes, extra ears, and extra boots on the ground that can help you X off more locations. And when we look at the Google Earth of this location, it is tremendous. Give me a second, guys.
But he hopes to get them back.
So I want to just put up the Google Earth imagery of the location. And again, bear with me on this because I think this is important for everybody to see this. And you know, I have in my playlist for Summer Wells, I have thousands of videos saved, thousands of important videos that I felt were important to see and look at. So I'm going to put this on the map here. So this is
dude, you know how
beach.
Seriously, man, like, do you know how much I could grow my channel if I didn't do the shit with my channel that I do? If I didn't get down in the mud and just call out channels by name and review their content, you know how much my channel would grow if I didn't do that? Why do you think I do it? Do you think I do it for the clicks and the views? I mean, it doesn't help my channel. It honestly doesn't. It really doesn't. I don't think it's too much to ask the TBI and the Hawkins County Sheriff's Department to try and discredit some of these rumors. I don't think it's too much to ask them.
Beach Creek community. This is Candace and Don Wells' home right
here. Yeah, what he's basically saying is, why would they refuse help from Midwest EquiSearch? That makes no sense. I understand not letting civilians search. I understand that. They absolutely said this from the beginning of the case. They said, okay, well, and they gave a good reason. Well, the terrain is really difficult. The terrain is very dangerous. And we don't want to have a bunch of civilians out there and then someone get hurt or lost. And then we're looking for someone besides Summer. And we're wasting resources trying to find somebody out there who's trying to find Summer. That would be counterproductive. And so to keep it just the professionals makes perfect sense. But Midwest EquiSearch, Texas EquiSearch, they have so much experience in searching and so much of a success rate that it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to refuse their help. Why would you decline the help of these experienced search teams? This is what they do. You just take somebody out there with you that's law enforcement. Take them with you. You know what I mean? Let them, go out there with EquiSearch. Do what Tim Miller has done with EquiSearch for missing people is incredible. Tim Miller, in the true crime community, Tim Miller is my personal hero. Like, I'm very, very weary. I'm very weary, and I pay attention to things. Okay, there are certain people that I pay attention to. I pay attention to certain people who will say things like, Nancy Grace is my hero. And I have good friends who feel this way, don't get me wrong. But they'll say, Nancy Grace is my hero in the true crime community. And then I'll hear other people say, Tim Miller is my hero in the true crime community. And then I'm like, yeah. There we go. Me and you, we're vibing. You know what I mean? Like, people who get shit done. Tim Miller has gotten shit done. EquiSearch gets shit done. And here it's been 2 years. Imagine what they probably could have accomplished in these last 2 years if they've been out there searching, been allowed to go out there and search with and liaise with Hawkins County Sheriff's Department and the TBI.
Right here in the middle of your screen. So I'll go full screen with it. But what I'm trying to show you here is, again, look at the terrain here, guys. This is the house. This is the area, right? This is here's Grandis's little where they were planting the flowers, right? Is right here. But what I really want to show you is all of this thick bush, all of this property has every inch of this in a 5-10 square mile radius. You mean to tell me that you had people in all of this area searching all of this? I don't know. It seems like a huge amount of land and a huge amount of area to cover. This flat open terrain here, this is a gimme. This is an easy search. But all of this is not. You got bodies of water where we did see divers in water early on in this thing. Right? But why would you say no to extra people? Let me just scale out. So this red dot here is Summerwell's home. And this is the terrain that you're looking at. I mean, do you guys see this? What this looks like? How difficult and how easy it would be to hide what the search guy, Tim Coop, that was the Hawkins County search and rescue guy who was running the search. Remember what he described to us as Summerwell's being the size of a manila envelope, 5 years old, size of, he's talking about a large size manila envelope. I remember him making that statement. And now you have all of this possibility of area where she could be And you can't tell me that human boots on the ground covered this 5-10 mile square area. So a lot of people are saying a lot of the crimes go unsolved in that area. Yeah. But if you don't,
that's an interesting point, because it's very possible that they know what happened to Summer. It's very possible that Hawkins County Sheriff's Department and the TBI actually know what happened to Summer, but they just simply don't have enough to convict someone with. They don't have enough to build a case on. They have enough to where they know, just not enough to where they could prove it in court. That's actually very, very possible. So if that's the case, then it would make sense as to why they would not waste EquiSearch's resources.
keep at it and you don't try. When you have people are offering you help that are bona fide search groups and you don't take their, if you don't accept their help, then to me, that's just, I just have a hard time. I have a hard time accepting that. I really do. I have a hard time accepting it. But let me know in the chat what your thoughts are. Do you feel like this is a cold case? Do you feel like the TBI, FBI, Hawkins County, really it's the TBI who is the lead on this case? Leslie Earhart, she is the lead, and she's the spokesperson for TBI. It's crickets. We haven't heard a peep from her, not even a tweet. You know, Ronnie Lawson, there's not a lot of votes of confidence. He's got his son who just got out of jail. His son was in jail for not such good things. People, the confidence level with Hawkins County Sheriff's Department, in my eyes, is not very good in the general public's eyes. You have people who still continually look at Robin Lane, the church people, the people from the church. There's a whole group of people who feel like she or they had something to do with this.
I feel so bad for Robin Lane. I feel like she has been a saint through this entire thing. And the amount of harassment that she got from those fucking idiots. Blowhard Betty, MGL, JLR. I mean, the amount of shit that poor woman has gotten is disgusting to me. Her child got harassed in church. MGL sat next to Robin Lane's little girl in church and started filming her without consent. And then these people showed up to her house and doxed her address, implying that she had something to do with Summer's disappearance. Disgusting.
Again, this is about the investigation and what goes on behind the scenes. And if they're not continually investigating this case and at least accepting extra hands and extra eyes on this thing, then we could be looking at a complete unsolved case. But look at what happened with Suzanne Morphew. And I bring up Suzanne Morphew because, again, there was the same kind of situation where people just started forgetting about that case. It wasn't being talked about. There was no Chaffee County sheriff giving news conferences. Barry Morphew, his charges were dropped against him. The Colorado, the CBI they weren't talking about Suzanne Morphew. And then boom, in that boneyard, they found her skeletal remains.
Now, Cheesy Wheezy made a good point earlier, saying, you know, that as far as the EquiSearch thing and TBI and Hawkins County not wanting to waste EquiSearch's resources, and that's why they said no. The thing is you have to understand, and you made a point saying, well, you would think that Duty Ron would pick up on that. That's a fair point. It's a very fair point. But I would assume that Duty Ron would pick up on that. And I would also based on that, I would assume that Duty Ron, I know that Duty Ron is actually in contact with members of EquiSearch. He communicates with them directly. And I would also assume that Hawkins County Sheriff's Department would say something to that effect to them. They would be pretty straightforward with them if that were the case. I think that they would directly tell them, hey, listen, we know certain things about this case, and trust me when we tell you that if you go out there, you're wasting your time and you're wasting your resources. And then I'm sure Tim Miller or whoever's in charge there at EquiSearch would be like, okay, fair enough. And that's it. But I don't, I have to, I have to assume that Duty Ron would pick up on this the same way that you would, Cheesy Weezy. And that would be the most logical explanation to me.
So it's not the same case because you're talking about an adult mom who went missing on Mother's Day, right? But it's the same. We're talking about the same concept where it just got tucked away, out of sight, out of mind, and people weren't speaking about it. The news wasn't covering it.
No living being should ever eat processed food for every single meal of their life.
So when Suzanne Morphew's skeletal,
I've been doing that shit my whole life, man. I'm healthy as a horse.
Remains were recovered a short time ago, we were all like, "What? Wow, where did this come from?" So let me say hello to everybody in the chat really quick because I got a couple more things I want to show you, and then I want to wrap it up because our good friend Melanie Little is going live at 2. I have this. Everybody on this stream is going to be redirected over to her live stream. So I'm redirecting everybody over at 2 o'clock to hers. Make sure you say hello to Melanie. The case that she's covering, I'm not really familiar with. I've been really sick the last 5-6 days. I've been down and out really bad. So I'm not aware of it, but let me say hi to everybody. Lake Lizard, Teresa, Legal Minded Friends, Karen is here. Thank you, Dawn Marie. Donna Marie is also here. Thank you. I was looking for Joey Brooklyn. I didn't see Joey Brooklyn. Black Rose is in the chat. Great.
Yeah, Donna Marie, Dawn Marie, and Joey Brooklyn are up in here.
Great friend, moderator. Thank you to the mod squad for everyone being here and hanging out. Hey, Charlie, good to see you. Charlie. Ouch, Charlie. M. Finn, good to see you. Thank you. Lexi.
I'm going to
always
fast
great to have
forward
what's
through
up.
this. Just...
Go back and I re-review the live chat. So I look at the chat and I always say hi to you guys when the live stream is over. Hey, Lieutenant Pete, good to see you. Thank you for checking in with me this morning. You and Richella are great people, and I love you. Justina, thank you. Nap King says, hey, I'm the one who's left messages for me and Ed. And don't crucify me. WHLI, I think it is. They're Johnson City, Tennessee, a local. Let's take a listen to what.
So I gotta point something out. It's really funny. Duty Ron is bad with names sometimes, like I am. I remember a while back, there's a guy that's wrenched on this channel, or was anyway. I got rid of all my wrenches and then gave a bunch of them back. Had to kind of but there's this dude named Caleb Mandrake, and and Duty Ron kept calling him Caleb. Because Caleb, like, one of the reasons why I wrenched him was because, like, he has like really, really smart insights, he would be in my chat and he just drops some like truth knowledge, and then I happened to be in Duty Ron's chat one time and Caleb was in there and he kept calling him Caleb because he was given insight, and it was noticeable because it's really smart insight, and Duty Ron was noticing it and he was like talking with him and he was like, yeah, I know what you mean, Caleb, but it was just very funny to me.
what Don Wells had to say, even though the sound of his voice kind of makes me nauseous because I know he's full of, and I said shit. I know he's full of shit, but let's take a listen and let's hear what he had to say on 2 years of his daughter under their report went missing. I went inside. She went downstairs to play with her toys. I asked the boys where she was, and they said, Mom, she's downstairs playing with her toys down in the toy playroom, which we got to see that playroom. It looked like a dungeon. And then she said, oh, she was gone. She just was gone. That I'll never be able to absorb that. I'll never be able to swallow that pill.
An Amber Alert issued 2 years ago to find Summer Wells is still active. Good evening, I'm Sarah Diamond.
I'm Josh Smith. Despite nationwide attention received by her disappearance, there are still no answers as to what happened to the little girl. The most significant recent development came yesterday when an age-progressed image was released.
Hey, now I have to be clear about something, guys. I don't Duty Ron is more than entitled to his own opinions. Everyone here in the chat is entitled to your own opinions. My opinions, as far as like them as parents, CPS has made that decision. That's probably a very good reason why the boys were taken from that home. There are certain standards that these parents have not been living up to. I am just not somebody. I'm not somebody who feels like I should be telling anybody, you know, whether or not the parents should be with their kids, that sort of thing. I just don't do that. So I just want to be very clear about that my opinions don't necessarily reflect those of Duty Ron. There's a lot that he is going to say that I agree with, and there's going to be some things that just don't necessarily coincide with my opinions. So I just want to be very clear about that.
Showing what Summer could look like now at the age of 7. That's the photo on the left of your screen.
Summer was 5 when she disappeared. The Tennessee Bureau of Investigation says there are no new details they can publicly release. But we have team coverage tonight. Clarice Shaley is at a vigil to help find Summer and honor other missing people.
But first, we'll go to Ansley Daniel, who spoke with Don Wells, Summer's father. Ansley, you've been tracking this case from the start.
Yeah, Josh and Sarah, here we are 2 years later, still trying to find out what happened to Summer. And tonight, her father is seeking some answers of his own.
I'm just having to put my faith completely in God and know that He has a better plan. And that's pretty much where I'm at. My wife is still struggling.
A lot has changed for the Wells family over the last 2 years since their daughter Summer went missing from their Beach Creek home in Hawkins County.
Social media have come out, you know, and protested at my job, everywhere we go. And so it's hard for us to get any work or anything in Eastern Tennessee.
Wells says he and his wife Candace have been in Arkansas on and off for the last few months, where he's been working in construction. He also says they've been working with the Department of Children's Services there to get their 3 older sons back. They've been in Tennessee DCS custody since the month after Summer was reported missing.
I want to ask you too, and I know I'm asking a lot of questions here, but how many of you here, and I know we're all parents, or most of us are parents or grandparents or, you know, aunts, uncles, and I'm very sympathetic to children being separated from their families. But how many of you guys here feel that the three children should go back with Don and Candace Wells? How many of you feel that they be safe back with the way we see Don and Candace Wells acting on a public forum like YouTube, and the way they act on camera? God only knows how they act off camera. But how many of you here legitimately, now think about this, do you feel that Candace and Don should have their 3 kids back, and that the state would be okay by giving them back to them?
See, I'm going to go ahead and say that I don't think any of us should be saying whether or not that's the case. We don't know what their life is like in and out. I happen to have known parents who dabble in substances, but it doesn't necessarily make them bad parents. Doesn't mean that they don't love their kids. We don't know what their 24/7 lifestyle is like inside their home, what type of parents they actually truly are. I personally don't believe that. I'm not going to say whether or not these parents should have their kids or if they shouldn't. We don't know all of the details. We've never seen a CPS report. We've seen them act like assholes, but here's the thing. When we've seen them act like assholes on the internet, they didn't have their kids with them. We don't know if they were under the influence and behaving a certain way around their kids. No, you're perfectly fine to disagree with me, Bobby Swain. Everybody here is entitled to their opinions. That's perfectly fine. I'm just expressing my opinion. That's all I'm doing. So I don't want to pass judgment on anyone as far as whether or not they should have their kids or not. I personally, my opinion is I don't believe that any of us are in a place to make that judgment. That's just my opinion. Yes, Joey Brooklyn does have a channel, Cherry. Yeah, I'm subscribed to his channel. Joey Brooklyn's got some cool stuff, man. If you're not familiar with the city of New York, he kind of gives you a little tour. It's really nice, chill. His streams are really nice and chill. I enjoy them.
Put a 1 in the chat if you think that they should be back. Put a 2 if you say, oh, hell no.
Oh, hell no.
There's my 2.
Missing.
I think they're scared of our house because of what happened, and is one of the issues, so we would like to buy another house here in Arkansas.
The house he's referring to on Ben Hill Road is where his daughter went missing from.
We couldn't understand what happened to Summer. The police couldn't understand, and they were questioning us. At times they were hard on us, and other times they weren't. Just depending on what police agency was there at the time.
2 years later, he and Candace.
He's making a reference of the TBI and the FBI railed us. They were forceful. They used proper tactics. And when we got interviewed by the locals, it was just a joke, probably.
Have no clues as to where Summer is.
We try to bounce things off of each other all the time. We might have talks about, some of the drug activity that was going on at the time and was going on right after her disappearance for quite a while. But yeah, there's nothing new.
Dawn says the family stays in touch with law enforcement through their private investigators.
About 2 months ago, they talked to our private investigators, and the FBI did.
So Road Rash is asking, are there instances of prior abuse of the kids? I'm really glad you asked that because we don't know. There's rumors of it, but all this case is that you hear on the internet, aside from what Duty Ron is saying and aside what I say on this channel and aside what Chasing Truth says on her channel, all you hear are rumors. All those other channels, all you're hearing are rumors. And I mean literally every one of them. So we don't, because there's minors involved, you're not going to get a CPS report. We're not going to get access to that. We don't know what CPS has discovered in that home. We don't know if there was abuse or if there wasn't abuse. I mean, I'm sure there's a valid reason as to why those kids were taken from the home. But here's the thing. I'm going to go ahead and say, after this is over, I'll explain where I'm at as far as for those of you who've never heard me talk about the Summer Wells case and how I feel about Don or Candace as far as that goes. After I finish with Duty Ron's stream here, I'll explain where I'm at on that.
Did, and they shared what they could with us. I mean, but they're just trying to come up with any new information or leads that they possibly could. And so far, we just haven't been able to come up with anything.
As 2 years pass with no new information publicly released, Dawn says the emotional toll is weighing on the family, especially Candace.
She's been burnt by so many people that want to, supposedly, interview her or help and stuff, and then basically turn on her in every imaginable way. She's been hurt deeply by these kind of things.
Let me add on to that nobody on any social media platform should interview anybody that was with Summer on her last known day that she was alive. And that would be the day she was reported, June 15th, 2021. Whoever was with her that day, the only people that should have ever interviewed them, and unfortunately this is too late now, but I'm saying it because I'm sorry, I just have to say it. The only people that should have interviewed anyone that was around Summer Wells the day that she was reported missing was police. That's it. So
I agree 100% with Duty Ron. Now, some of you might be saying, well, Glera, you had them on your channel. Yes, I have. I have had them on my channel. And let me explain to you what that consisted of. Okay. At one point, I simply asked, do you know what happened to Summer? And I got an absolutely not answer. I got an answer of absolutely not. And the rest of the time was me pleading with each of them to stay the fuck off of YouTube channels. That is exactly what I did. That they are not helping the case. So I want to be very clear about that. I agree with Duty Ron, but I felt once they showed up in my chat, I invited them up and I was just like, okay, I got words for these people. I got absolute words for these people. Because all I care about is Summer being found. And that little girl's only hope are the law enforcement agencies tasked with the responsibility of finding her. Period.
So anybody else, whether you're a private investigator or retired police or whatever, shame on you if you interviewed that Hunter kid, the grandmother, Candace, Don.
Y'all know he's throwing shade. Y'all know he's throwing shade right now, right? I interviewed Hunter. I'm a former law enforcement investigator. Oh, I love Duty Ron, bro.
And anybody for that matter that was in contact with Summer Wells that day, if you interviewed them, shame on you.
Agreed.
Disgusting, despicable, because you don't have the best interest of justice at the forefront. You have your own best interest of, look at me. I got this interview with Don and Candace and Hunter.
I got the
That's
interview
the
with
most
Don
shitty
and
thing
Candace.
that anybody could ever do. Despicable. But again, this is already water on the bridge and done. So shame on all of those people. Right up the whole daisy chain.
Plus the thought of, we lost our daughter, and, our boys are in custody also with the CPS.
He says they haven't been able to talk to their sons.
Well, at first we were allowed to talk to them and everything. And then, we haven't been able to talk to them for about 6 months.
Well, Sleuthy Goosey, that's because he's a fucking jackass. That's because That's because CM is a fucking jackass. Okay? I'll say it. Like, Duty Ron's too classy for that shit. All right? But I'm going to go ahead and say it. CM gives any former law enforcement investigator who has a YouTube channel a bad name. He is a bad look for all of them. Fuck that guy.
No contact or anything like that. And that's all we want to do is be able to tell them that we love them and we're rooting for them and we're working on, things to get them back.
Hope is hard to hold on to after all this time, but Don says he's clinging to faith.
Whatever the outcome is, I have hope in God, and one day, either sooner or later, I will be with my daughter again.
I've reached out to the
I'm sick of hearing of that. Don says that every time he's on camera. Listen, I don't buy his bag of shit. And the bottom line is the stories that they're telling they don't jive. None of it makes any sense. And at the end of the day, the waters have been so muddied because of all of the jagaloonism, all of the negative false narratives, and the nights
He's
of
not wrong.
hours and hours of wild speculation and so forth.
He's not wrong.
The evidence is the only thing that will bring us to justice. The truth is the only thing that will bring us to finding out what happened to Summer that day. And I feel that early on they had a chance and they had an opportunity to get that truth. And it was a small window of opportunity, and that ship's already sailed. And whoever was on the case investigating early on didn't seize opportunities. And that's all I'll say. But we're never going to give up on Summer Wells. We're going to always continue to talk about it. I have a lot to say about Hawkins County Sheriff's Department. And if you tune in tomorrow, I'm going to be live I'm hoping Ed Wallace will be available and Dave Rader from EquiSearch Midwest, because I have some things that I want to expose to you guys about communication that I tried to make to Hawkins County Sheriff to offer additional resources. And we'll get into that tomorrow. So make sure you tune in. If you like all things true crime related from the police detective's perspective, I'm also a law enforcement liaison for EquiSearch Midwest. Please subscribe to this channel, hit the like button, share it out to your social media platform. Pray for the innocent people of Israel and also the folks on the front lines in this war in the Gaza Strip, the good human beings who are trapped there and being controlled by radical Islamic terrorism. Just send them strength, prayers, and positive vibes. The good people, the Israeli soldiers, and everybody that's volunteering, 300,000 call-ups, volunteers that are out there. Most of them are 19 and 20-year-old kids. So war is never a good thing, but we send strength, prayers, and positive vibes. We ultimately want to have peace in that region. I don't know if we'll ever get it, but please, everybody, keep them in your thoughts and prayers. We're going to go over to Attorney Melanie Littles now. When we're done here, let her know that you came from Crime Time with Duty Ron. Check out what she's talking about. I don't know the exact case. I'm not really familiar with it, but she's going to be.
Okay. Now, let me share with you guys my thoughts. And thank you, Duty Ron, for all of your insight on that. Appreciate it. And it's always valuable. Now, here's where I'm at when it comes to Don and Candace on the Summer Wells case. Okay. I feel like, that's just me personally, I feel like after 2 years, because I realize now, I agree with Duty Ron on everything that he's saying, that they just, all of the buffoonery that they have engaged in on YouTube channels over the last 2 years is extremely troubling. And it does not help in the slightest bit. As a matter of fact, I feel that it hurts the investigation in finding Summer Wells. I absolutely feel that way. I've stated it many times before, and I'm going to continue to state it. Now, I feel like they've finally kind of They seem to have. I haven't heard anything or seen anything, and I feel like they finally seem to have gotten to the point where they're just like, okay, we're going to shut the fuck up now. Now, here's where I'm at. I don't think I don't have enough reason to think. I should word it that way. I don't have enough reason, or any reason for that matter, to believe that Dawn and or Candace had anything to do with Summer's disappearance. And the reason why I say this is because A, there's no tangible evidence to connect them to that, to say that they did. B, I feel like these people, under the influence of so many substances and alcohol, going on YouTube channels, people trying to trick them into slipping the temper tantrums that they've had on YouTube channels, all of these things, they would have slipped and said something. I do not think that these people are criminal masterminds. I do not give them the intellectual credit that they have been able to commit the perfect crime and be able to keep it covered up and hush hush this entire time. I think people stupid enough to go on YouTube channels the way that they have so habitually over the last 2 years, they are not smart enough to never slip up. They're just not. So I just don't buy it. And I get it. Man, I get annoyed every time I hear Don with his whole, God this and God that, and he's all fucking drunk and fucking high. It's annoying. It's fucking, it's infuriating at times, as a matter of fact. But it's just as infuriating to me to see YouTube channels sit there and badger them. It's infuriating to me to see dickheads like JLR go and find out where they're staying and what hotel, dox their hotel room, when the whole purpose of them leaving was to avoid people like this, and to try to get some sort of peace. Because just because they have questionable lifestyles, just because they have questionable, they're questionable parents, it doesn't mean that they are guilty of murder. It doesn't mean that they are guilty of covering up a murder. Those are some serious allegations to make towards a set of parents to a missing child. There's all shapes and sizes in this world, people. In this country alone, all shapes and sizes. And because their lifestyles don't mesh with yours, and they don't mesh with the kind of lifestyles that you approve of, it does not mean that they are guilty of one of the most heinous crimes that one could think of. And until you show me tangible evidence that they have done something like this, I am going to treat them as though they are the parents of a missing child. Now, the way that they've behaved online, as far as what they could or couldn't do in order to be more helpful towards the investigation that is geared towards finding their missing daughter, absolutely questionable, to say the least. And that is why I have publicly said that I will not open my platform to either one of those people ever again. Because it does nothing but hurt. Them showing up on YouTube channels does nothing but hurt the investigation. It just adds more spaghetti to the pile to sift through. Every time they talk, it's just more shit for these shit channels to twist and spin their own bullshit narratives. And they feel like it's real important to clear things up and blah, blah, blah. No, it's not. It's important for you to shut the fuck up and let law enforcement do their job. And the question on Duty Ron's mind is whether or not law enforcement is doing that. It doesn't matter. Okay. That's fair for Duty Ron to ask those questions. It's not fair for me to ask those questions because I'm not an experienced investigator. But as far as Don and Candace go, it doesn't matter whether they like it or not. Those are the agencies. Those are the people that are Summer's only hope. And the best thing for them to do as her parents, if they want her back and they want even a prayer's chance of finding or of their daughter being brought back home to them safely, is to shut the fuck up and stay off of YouTube channels. Simple. I've said it many times before. I told it to them to their faces. I've told them this. They seem to be doing that so far. But I agree with everything Duty Ron was saying as far as the buffoonery that they were engaging in. But you're just not going to convince me that people too stupid to stay off of the internet are not going to be stupid enough to slip up when Don throws a rant screaming the N-word. I mean, I just don't see it. I don't see somebody stupid enough to violate his probation by getting caught drunk driving with a gun, and he's covering up the perfect crime so successfully 2 years in. I just don't see it. It makes no sense to me. So that's where I'm at as far as Don and Candace's guilt go as far as this case goes. I just don't see them being smart enough to pull this off. I mean, just think about that. This man's going to be so stupid as to blurt out these dumb details of his past under the influence of alcohol and drugs, and never once slip up anything about Summer's disappearance if he's guilty of it, if he had something to do with it. Never once. Yet blurt out totally irrelevant shit that just gets all of these vultures, gives them all ammunition to trash them online. It doesn't add up. So as far as Duty Ron's theory, as far as like whatever they're saying doesn't mesh, they say one thing and then they say another and they say another. That's because they're just fucked up people. That's, to me, they're just people, they're drunks and on whatever substances they're on. And, that's my explanation for that. But the fact that they never slipped, they've slipped on all kinds of other dumb shit that they should never have even made anybody else's business. They're going to slip on all that other shit, give these people all this ammunition to judge them and throw shade at them, and yet not one slip up of what happened to their daughter. Not one. Ever. In 2 years. That dog don't hunt, man. I'm just not buying it. So that is why so far, and I'm not saying they're innocent. I'm saying, based on what I'm telling you right now, there's no fucking way you're going to get me to jump on board with the narrative that they're guilty of a crime that we don't even know took place. We have no idea what happened to Summer. There is no evidence at all made public as to anything that happened to Summer. There's not even an iota of what may have happened to her. So that's my thoughts on the Summer Wells case. Now, moving on, we're gonna discuss some of this TurtleBoy stuff. And what I'm going to do, now I've got something in the works. I don't know. Nothing's been solidified just yet, but I'm going to have, I'm supposed to have a guest on Thursday. We just haven't agreed on a time, and we talked about it like 3 days ago, but I don't know what's going to happen. But I'm hoping to have a guest on here. Nobody that I'm going to discuss here tonight, but I just don't want to say who that guest is until it's set. But there's an interesting article that was posted in the Boston Herald that was written by a controversial very openly right-wing talk show host named Howie Carr. I'm not that familiar with him. So some of you guys probably already hate the guy, but he wrote a very interesting article about TurtleBoy, and I'm going to go ahead and read it. And this was posted yesterday at 4:26 in the afternoon during the published by the Boston Herald. Now, this is a fun article, folks, because I was highly entertained by it. So says here, as you see, there's your boy in handcuffs. Says here, good career move, TurtleBoy. In case you missed it, Aiden Kearney, the local blogger, better known as TurtleBoy, was arrested by the state police Wednesday. It's no fun getting. Hold on. Folks. Wait.
I think we got a super chat. Super chat. I think we got a super chat. Super chat. Super chat. Super chat. I think we got a super chat. I think we got a super chat.
Bust it, Cock Church. Bust it. Lindsay G says, can you give a quick summary of who TurtleBoy is and what happened? No super chat needed. Yeah, I guess I could do that. So TurtleBoy is Aiden Kearney. He is a blogger, and he has been following the Karen Reed, John O'Keefe case. Jared, I'm not going to get all deep into that case just yet, but John O'Keefe was killed, and his girlfriend at the time, Karen Reed, was charged with second-degree murder. Apparently, she was charged with murdering him and by running him over, backing into him with her mid-sized, not full-sized SUV. And TurtleBoy believes that that Karen Reed is not only innocent, but there is a conspiracy amongst police officers in covering it up. Now, I would direct you, as far as YouTube channels go, I would direct you to Tracy Ann Chasing's channel. Her and Deets on the Streets and Gavel Geeks are doing an amazing job of covering this case and going through all of the facts. And but if you want to review the documents for yourself, which is what I highly recommend, Sleuthy Goosey put together a fucking textbook, basically, of this of all the facts of this case, all the documents, and the link to that is in the description. So make sure to check out Tracy Ann Chasing, and make sure to click on that link that I have here. I'll share it in chat. Make sure to click on this link, and if you're on your laptop or whatever, make sure to bookmark it and look over everything and judge for yourself. Make your own opinion. That's what I would encourage all of you to do. So this spreadsheet just has everything that you could ever want in knowing this case. So now, and yes, and big shout out to Sleuthy Goosey for putting that together. And so now TurtleBoy is a blogger, and he has been getting knee deep in the mud investigating this thing and uncovering a lot of inconsistencies and writing about it, blogging about it, vlogging about it. And he was just recently arrested just a couple days ago. I had the pleasure of having a conversation with him here on this channel. And then just like 3 days later, he gets arrested for intimidation of witnesses, 8 counts. I think it's 8 counts. Intimidation of witnesses in this case. And it is speculated that it is nothing but a intimidation tactic and a violation of his First Amendment rights, which so far I actually agree with. Personally, that's my opinion, but look at all the facts and make your own opinion. So that's my brief catch up for those of you who don't know who TurtleBoy is. Now you do. I'm going to go ahead and continue with this. So in case you missed it, Aiden Kearney, the local blogger known as, I cannot see the chat right now. So if I miss any important comments and miss any super chats or memberships, I do apologize. Cherry will acknowledge them for me. I'm sure, because she's amazing. But I'm going to go ahead and read this article. In case you missed it, Aiden Kearney, the local blogger better known as TurtleBoy, was arrested by the state police Wednesday. It's no fun getting lugged, but this is one of those times when every knock is a boost. This pinch will ultimately be a major resume enhancer for TurtleBoy because now he's got videotape to shop around Hollywood. Now, before I continue, I just want it on the record that I have said in my own words the same shit. Since he got arrested, I think I went live at least once. I don't know if I went live twice about it, but I know that I said the same shit. Like now, this brought more attention. What this happened to do is bring more attention on TurtleBoy, but more importantly, more attention on what he's trying to bring attention to. It's making people ask questions. It's making people look into this case. It's making people realize that questions need to be asked at the very least. So and I did say, man, I did say this is now, it's got the makings of a Netflix documentary, man. It absolutely does. So right. Tracy Ann, as I put it before, the Streisand effect. They were expecting to shut him up, and instead of shutting him up, he got louder, and he hasn't even said shit since, barely. So, it's quite fascinating. And so, when they make a movie about this, let's real quick, let's go to the Summer Wells case. Okay, so 66% of you thought that Summer Wells is a cold case. 34% think it's not. That's very close. But I'm going to put up another one here. This one's just for fun. Oh, wait. All right, so now I think it's between whoever's going to play TurtleBoy in the movie. I'm thinking some Bostonian actors. I'm thinking it's between Mark Wahlberg and Matt Damon. You guys tell me what you think. Marky Mark or Goodwill Born Identity? While you guys figure that out, I'm gonna while you guys figure that out, I'm gonna continue with Howie Carr's article here. It's no fun getting lugged, but this is one of those times when every knock is a boost. This pinch will ultimately be a major resume enhancer for TurtleBoy because now he's got videotape to shop around Hollywood, which is absolutely true. Kearney, a 41-year-old former school teacher from Holden, was recorded doing the perp walk into a local district court, flanked by flabby, jack-booted troopers. He was handcuffed behind his back, the mark of any serious journalist in a future streaming docudrama that is, as they say, ripped from the headlines. And it wasn't shot by some fanboy on a shaky, out-of-focus cell phone. It was on local TV news. And it has made national news, by the way. Fox News has picked that up. They put out an article about it today. So, yeah. That is like money in the bank when you are trying to negotiate a deal with somebody like Netflix. It shows you're getting the job done, whatever the job is. The charges against Kearney are witness intimidation, but as one of TurtleBoy's fellow guerrilla reporters, Robert Bastille of hyenisnews.com put it, looks more like journalist intimidation. That's exactly what it looks like to me. State-run media sneeringly dismissed TurtleBoy and his website, TurtleBoyDailyNews.com, as controversial, as if that's somehow bad. The fact is, for the past years, all he's been doing is filling a vacuum created by the utter collapse of local media. Not so long ago, most of his scoops, and he's had plenty, would have been uncovered by daily newspapers or maybe even local TV news. He lives in Holden, where newspaper called the Worcester Telegram used to circulate in 1999, the Telegram was sold to the New York Times for $300 million. As insane as that now sounds, remember that the Times had earlier bought the Boston Globe for $1.1 billion. A few years later, both papers were dumped for $70 million, which was the value of their real estate. The two rags themselves were and are utterly worthless by any standard. You see what old Mr. Carr is doing here, right? Because this is published in the Boston Globe. So he's dropping a little bit of hints. Okay, he's dropping a few hints here. So the fact that the Boston Globe was sold for $1.1 billion, that means a lot of people are reading this, folks. So right here, TurtleBoy is getting set up for that Scorsese movie. I'm thinking, I mean, it could be Carr goes into a TV made for TV movie, but I'm thinking bigger than that. I'm thinking directed by Scorsese. I'm thinking this is going to be like a Departed type thing here. I'm thinking 20th Century Fox. We got to think big here, folks. A few years later, both papers were dumped for $70 million, which was the value of their real estate. The two rags themselves were and are utterly worthless by any standard. I should have kept reading. TurtleBoy started covering Worcester like a reporter. For a while, he jokingly referred to the shell of the old sheet as the Turtlegram. The joke no longer works, though, because the paper is so irrelevant now that even its faint memory has faded from public consciousness. Then he expanded into a subject that the bankrupt Boston media no longer cared about: news. He took down the entire state police command staff. He reported on the COVID outrages, like the firings of honest troopers who refused the worthless vaccination, and on the political establishment's flaunting of their own preposterous diktats. Diktats? Is that diktats? Now, right here, I'm going to pause for a second here and say that this shuts down The fact that he spoke out in favor of honest state troopers against being forced to take the COVID vaccine does not, it shuts down the whole idea that he is anti-cop. Okay. This right here, if anybody's sitting here thinking that TurtleBoy hates cops, he doesn't. He's outraged by the dishonesty of cops. And I think that that's testament to that. The fact that he spoke up in their favor and used his platform and used his blog to bring attention to the injustice that they were being fired for not taking the vaccination. He almost single-handedly took out Monica Cannon Grant, the greedy plus-sized BLM grifter who so wowed the globe and the rest of the trust-funded suburban hens in the newsrooms. Oh my God. Of course, much of his daily output concerned what he calls ratchets, tattooed 300-pound welfare moms peddling their EBT cards on eBay, or menopausal teachers posting photos of themselves in the Caribbean drunkenly carousing during the school shutdowns during the panic. Obviously, TurtleBoy had to go. He was afflicting the comfortable, verboten in modern journalism. So they went after him on the Karen Reed story. She's charged with running over her boyfriend, a Boston cop, after a drunken evening in Canton with some of the local connected townies. TurtleBoy has been pursuing the story with a vengeance because, let's face it, how long can the ratchet racket last? We all get the point of TurtleBoy's Ratchet Chronicles. The war on poverty is over. Poverty won. And there's the prosecutor. Now, folks, Cachette, this was what's his name? Carr. What's his first name? Howie Carr. Thank you. He's obviously quite a character because he has a lot to say about this gentleman in this picture who happens to be the prosecutor in TurtleBoy's case. I'm sorry, guys. This shit is beyond fucking hilarious. This has got to be one of the most entertaining articles I've ever read. I'm not saying I agree with it all. I'm just saying it's fucking funny. Like, I don't want it to ever end. So yeah, the staff photo. This is a staff photo by Chris Christo of the Boston Herald. Norfolk County District Attorney Michael W. Morrissey speaks during a Safer Communities Initiative roundtable held at the Boys and Girls Club of Worcester. And there he is. So that's Mr. Morrissey. It was a good lay, good lay. It was a good lay. That's all I can think about. Whenever I hear the word Morrissey, I just think of that guy. William, it was really nothing. And if you like to marry me, if you like, you can buy the ring. My side, by the way, I don't even know the words. So, TurtleBoy's turn to pointing out the holes in the murder case against Karen Reed. The Keystone cops blundering ahead are working for the Norfolk County District Attorney, Mike Past the Gravy Morrissey. Oh, this motherfucker, Howie, killing me, dude. Mike Past the Gravy Morrissey, a hack straight out of Central Casting. Of course, Morrissey has a D after his name. In his case, it stands for donuts. Oh my God. Oh my God. When Hollywood starts work on the inevitable made-for-TV movie, the producers may have problems finding someone to portray Morrissey. I don't know if there's anyone in showbiz obese enough to do Past the Gravy justice, or should I say injustice. Oh my God. Hold on before I continue, because like I said, I don't want this article to end. So let me try to think, because I'm pretty well versed in Hollywood. I like movies a lot. I'm trying to think who would play past the Gravy Morrissey that would do it justice. I mean, because they do have fat suits too, bro. They do have fat suits. I mean, just look at old Brendan Fraser in The Whale. He passed off pretty well. And then you got Christian Bale. Christian Bale does a pretty good job of gaining a shit ton of weight, then losing it. Christian Bale actually played Dick Cheney. Did a pretty good job, actually. So just first guess, I'm gonna say Christian Bale. I'm gonna give that to Christian Bale. First guess till I can think of somebody better. You could get Meatloaf. Meatloaf could do it. Yeah, Meatloaf could do it. Oh my God. The Hackerama is beyond angry at TurtleBoy about Karen Reed, not to mention every other expose he's done. They told the judge his Reed stories were intimidating, but in fact, a lot of that is just what reporters do or used to anyway. Hell, look how Fox News humiliated Representative Rashida Tlaib, I don't know how to say that, the Nazi apologist last week. If Hillary Vaughn had done the Chase interview in Norfolk County, Tlaib's, I don't know how to say that, sorry if I'm mispronouncing it, fellow Democrat Morrissey might now be charging her with intimidation. The deep state sent 6 MSP cruisers to TurtleBoy's house in Holden. He just put his kids on the school bus when they arrived. Some of them were from the fugitive apprehension unit while he was being booked. That was for Cherry. The troopers ransacked his home and grabbed his computers and cell phones. And that's his problem. TurtleBoy is a reporter in the old sense of the word. He has actual sources. So this is a good point now. I want people to pay close attention to this point that old Howie Carr makes here. That old Howie Carr makes here, because this is something that I didn't think of. This is something I did not think of. Okay? And it's a very, very, very important point. This is TurtleBoy's problem, is that he's a reporter in the old sense of the word. He has actual sources. A lot of his reporting has always been about state police corruption. And now the MSP thuggerocracy has finally made out who his sources are. Honest cops are worried. The police state is coming after the police. Who's ever going to call me now? He said Friday night. This is just about humiliating me. That's all it is. In court on Wednesday, the hack special prosecutor told the hack judge that Kearney had made $5 million in the Karen Reed story. We all know that's not true. I think they Googled Aidan Kearney and came up with a retired Irish rugby player. The posting for that guy said he was worth $1 to $5 million. So they claimed in court that he was me. That's the level of evidence. That's the level of evidence against me. Next is the grand jury. If he's indicted, the charges could be worth 10-year sentences, 10 times 8, 80 years, TurtleBoy said. They want to put me in prison for 80 years for the crime of having a show on YouTube where I make colorful comments. He set up a legal defense fund on givensdigo.com, the unwoke crowdfunding site. In the first 2 days, he took in $45,000. He still needs to find a lawyer who doesn't mind going up against the local kleptocracy. In the end course, TurtleBoy prevails. He gets the docudramas and the made-for-TV movies, assuming, of course, that Hollywood can find somebody fat enough for the role of the pizza-crazed district attorney Pass the gravy, Morrissey. Oh my God, dude. Oh, I can't with that shit. Oh, that fucked me up. That was the funniest shit ever. Fucking ever. Oh my God. So let me go over something else here. Oh, the problem is, oh, here we go. Okay, I found it. So I'm going to go ahead and show these guys real quick. Now, let me go ahead and real quick, let me share their link to their channel. This channel is called Making Law Simple. Okay. And go ahead and click on them and subscribe. I am very grateful for this channel. I love when lawyers have YouTube channels and I can reference them. I can watch them. I love to get a lawyer's perspective on cases. And this is these guys going over TurtleBoy's case. So they are called Making Law Simple. And we're going to go over their video here. But I am going to speed it up a little bit.
I muted myself. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Making Law Simple. My name is David Helm. I am a licensed practicing attorney in the state of Michigan, and with me is the layman baker. Welcome, Baker.
I'm a layman baker. I'm a professional baker and a legal layman.
A legal layman, yes. And it is getting hot in my treehouse, so I need to take off my rain jacket.
You say it's getting hot in there.
I'm taking off all my clothes.
Yeah.
Well, welcome, everybody. Welcome. Glad most of you were able to carry over from the Jody area stream into this
fucking lawyers trying to
hide my
funny.
chat and manage my stuff going on here. Appreciate a like and subscribe. And I am I'm covering some stuff today that Baker and Jamie have pretty much covered already, but I want to do it in a little bit of a different format because I've been looking at this case for a little bit and I find it odd. I find it interesting and I find it a little concerning as a fellow YouTuber. And if you guys don't know who TurtleBoy is, I didn't either until Wednesday, but he is apparently a YouTuber and a blogger, more importantly, an award-winning blogger. But has a YouTube channel as well. He's been covering the Karen Reed case. And if you're not familiar with that case, out of what?
Thank you, Baker.
Yeah,
thank you.
So, okay, private chats. Anyways, Karen Reed is I guess she's an ex-girlfriend now of a police officer that has died. And she is being accused. She's being charged with second-degree murder, leaving the scene of an accident, drunk driving, all kinds of stuff like that. Well, some people, including the defense, have said that she is being.
Now, guys, heads up. I'm not going to go over this entire thing tonight, but I will go over the rest of it tomorrow. So I just wanted to get some of you guys, some of your all's attention here on this, but we're gonna go through this for about another 30 minutes, and then I'll go over the rest tomorrow. Okay, guys?
Is being framed because her police officer boyfriend who was killed happened to be at a police officer house, and a lot of things don't make sense. And some of the police officers involved that are witnesses might have been a little too involved, might have planted some evidence. Things just seem a little weird. And it's not just like random conspiracy theorists out there. There's a whole host of people that are saying that. And apparently TurtleBoy is one of them. And he has his YouTube channel, and he's not scared of saying the things that he does. And the question came up on Laid Back News the other day is he actually a member of the press? Like, does he get First Amendment rights? And the answer is emphatically yes. He has First Amendment rights in this case. And the question is if we're going to impede upon, well, first of all, what are First Amendment rights? What is your right to freedom of speech? What is your right to be, broadcaster and communicate out there to the masses? And unless it violates some rule that the court has upheld, basically you can do anything. Now, what he's being charged with is intimidating a witness, actually intimidating several witnesses. It's 8 or 9 counts of intimidating a witness. And there's a count of conspiracy too. It sounds like his co-conspirator is unindicted and unnamed, but conspiring with somebody in order to intimidate witnesses. I don't know where the Supreme Court falls on that, but we kind of generally think it's a good idea to maybe not threaten a witness into not testifying, right? Or say, hey, I'll give you a bunch of money if you say this instead of that. We generally accept that that's a good thing. The question is did this gentleman, TurtleBoy, as a YouTuber and blogger, did he effectively intimidate witnesses to the point where he could now spend 21 years in prison and a fine of not more than $5,000? I kind of would rather take the fine myself. Mm-hmm. To my understanding, he doesn't have any priors. If he had priors, then it would be a $10,000 fine and 20 years in jail as opposed to 21 years in prison, which is kind of weird. I don't know. Anyways, but that's where we're at. So what I wanted to do, and Baker's already covered this, but I wanted to walk through, this is his arraignment from Wednesday. And as we walk through, the prosecutor makes specific mentions of specific posts. And I kind of want to, all right, he says this is what's happening. Let's go take a look at it. And that's kind of the hope for this. I wasn't able to edit this video as much as I wanted to, so it's going to be a little clumsy, but we're going to take a look. Anyways, Baker, Jamie, did you guys have anything you wanted to add before we get going? Because I know you guys have already covered this.
No, I'm glad you're covering it again because I would like to break it down. I mean, we just went through it, but to break it down, it's gonna be good.
Yeah, I'd like to.
No, go ahead.
I like the idea about seeing the witnesses, the video specifically mentioned because people in the chat, there was a lot of people jumping in who's familiar with TurtleBoy, and they said that it was BS.
Yeah, and it kind of looks that way from some of them. But we don't have, some of the stuff is not in the stream either. Some of it is Facebook posts and stuff. And I've grabbed as much as I could to kind of take a look at what he's actually being accused of.
Oh, so, and you might, for new people here, want to mention that the day before they tried to get a restraining order against him, which was struck down by another judge.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden they charged him with, I believe it was 6 counts of witness intimidation and jury tampering and conspiracy.
I heard in the recording 6 counts. And then I read in the news report that it was 8 or 9 counts. And then I saw on the now defendant TurtleBoy's own post that it was 8 counts. And so I'm not sure, but it's several counts of this. There's also another count, which I don't think we're going to get to today because we really only kind of have an hour and then I've got to run. But of picketing a court. And I have a lot of constitutional issues with the idea of it's unlawful to picket outside of a court. So we'll see. We'll see if we can get it. We're not going to be able to get into that today, but I'm going to probably do quite a few of these streams.
This is fun. I like this topic has been very interesting to me lately. So.
Yeah, so I'm going to play this for a bit, and then if I'm playing it at 1.25, and if it's too quiet or not too quiet, if it's too fast, let me know.
Good morning, Ron. Attorney Kenneth Mello, Special Prosecutor for the Commonwealth. With me is Attorney Robert Novak, also Special Prosecutor. I do, Ron. I have a number of requests for conditions of release. We're requesting cash bail of $1,000.
Okay, so by the way, too, this is an arraignment. So at an arraignment, the defendant is informed of the charges against him, the nature of the charges, the maximum penalty. He has an opportunity to ask for a court-appointed attorney if he cannot afford one, or retained one. It sounds like he's retained one. But then bond is set, right? So the idea is that you haven't been convicted, so we're going to let you out, but we're going to put you under some restrictions. And so what they're addressing right now is bond. In order to address bond, he wants to go through everything, which is okay. But it gives us something to talk about.
GPS monitoring. Stay away from all witnesses 100 yards. And that would be with the exception of court appearances that the defendant is required to attend if other witnesses are present. We're asking for 100 yards stay away from witnesses' homes, businesses, places of employment, and schools. We're asking for no contact with witnesses by phone, text, email, or otherwise, either directly or indirectly. We're asking that the defendant, through his blog, internet use, but not.
Why do they say it that way?
The only reason Jamie is interested in this is because it is bad, yes.
Yeah.
Maybe aware this defendant has a blog with a rather large following, and that will get to the root of the case itself. But it appears that
Okay, like that's playing extra fast.
The Zoom calls. Yeah, the Zoom calls keep chiming in. He keeps pausing for it. It's awesome.
People don't know how to mute themselves.
Because I'm already playing these guys fast. So
we're asking that there be no harassment of witnesses or their families, no intimidation.
I love it. By the way, I do Zoom court all the time, and I love it when we're just sitting there and we're waiting, and someone else logs in, and it doesn't matter who's talking or what's going on. The person who just logged in is like, "Hi, I'm here." It's like, "Oh my God, you're in court. Would you walk into a courtroom, be like, I'm here?" Just sit quietly, people.
Other family members. We're asking that he not on his blogs or otherwise encourage his blog followers to photograph witnesses, their families, their homes, etc. As Ron will hear from the evidence presented by common argument, the defendant has shown up at sports games attended or that were being engaged in by children witnesses and has made scenes there.
Okay, so this is the first one I want to talk about, and I have. Oh my God, I hate doing this. So I did all the prep work on my laptop, and I was supposed to save. Okay, I'll just talk about it. So I went through his YouTube, not his YouTube. I went through his Facebook and his Twitter, and I was looking for the things that they're talking about. There's a picture posted of some witness at a sporting event, kind of like they were in the background of a selfie that someone else took and posted, and then he just simply enlarged. So I don't know if he was actually there. So that's the first thing.
I'm pretty sure he was there.
You can follow him on Facebook. And
I'm pretty sure he was there.
I do have the other ones that I want to talk about, but that was the first thing that I noticed. Is let me see if I can just pull it up real quick, because that's it, right? He's not like there, and it clearly states. Oh my God, I'm gonna log back in. Okay, let me find TurtleBoy. But it clearly shows in the picture, like, hey, look at this person in the background of a selfie, hiding their face. Only innocent people really hide their face. That's essentially what he posted out there. Let's see if I can find it again real quick. See how prepared I am for this. I mean, he does have a lot of posts about the witnesses, or that are in here, but also understand too that these witnesses are public employees. They are public agents. They're not, or spouses of that were at a party with a bunch of cops. They're not necessarily just your random citizen. I'll come back to it. I'll keep playing it.
Using loudspeakers, etc. We're asking that he be precluded or prohibited from attending those sports games, school or otherwise, to harass witnesses.
Okay, here it is. I got it. All right, so let me pull this up. That's not what I want.
Jerry, stop it.
Okay, so this is the post. Canton cover up part 151. Brian, Nicole, Cataline. I don't know. I'm not going to say these stupid names.
Caitlin.
Yeah, hiding their faces.
Bring on the dyslexic Dane
to read out my English words.
Yeah.
Thank you. Hiding their faces at a Bridgewater football game in order to avoid being seen in selfie background. Selfie background. So this is a selfie that he zoomed in on. Maybe it was him. Maybe it wasn't. I don't know. But this is like a selfie background. Yesterday, we published a blog about Brian and Nicole being seen at their football game. Like shortly afterwards, another Turtle writer posted an image of the Justice for John O'Keefe and Karen Reed official Facebook group showing Brian and Nicole. So another person, not him. Okay, so presumably this person, right?
Now, Gregor Smith, I see your comment there. You're saying they're really suspects, not witnesses, in my opinion. Well, the thing is we don't know who's actually suspect so much yet. That's all theory. Now, if you're saying that there are people who are suspect in covering the shit up, then I agree with you. Definitely, I can definitely get with you on suspects in a cover up. But as far as who did it, I'm still super on the fence about that. I have not, even though TurtleBoy made a lot of sense, and he's obviously done a lot more background on this case than I have. I'm still, as far as motive goes, I still am not completely dismissing Matt McCabe, because he's the one to me that has the most motive. Besides, now, but I'm 50-50. Well, let me say I'm 60-40 on and 40 being Matt McCabe, 60 being Colin Albert. And that's simply because there are people with a lot more knowledge in this case than I do, and those people absolutely believe it's Colin. So that, but there's some motive there for sure, but there's also, I believe, just based on Jen McCabe's behavior, I still question the nature of the relationship between John and Jen McCabe. So I'm still holding on. Well, let me just go 70-30. That's probably the safer way to go. 30% I'm going with Matt McCabe. The other 70, Colin Albert.
Right? He's taking a picture at a football game, a selfie, and these people are here hiding their faces in the background. That's what's going on. It's not this particular defendant that's posting these. It's someone else. What's that?
I'm just saying that's weird that they. But again, it's the state. They can make everything look bad. And you got a membership and you got a super chat. Just
Oh, look at that. 87 Swedish crowns. Nice. Here's the 87 monies. Yes, thank you. We are even now. Thank you very much. Farrell.
I love you. I
And
love
did
the
see joke,
casting.
one gifted membership. I don't know who received
I
it.
love your all's casting. Keep those coming. I love the casting of the Karen Reed movie.
The membership.
Peach Peony.
Peace Pony.
I read it. I read it as it's written.
Adorable. Oh my god.
It's
I thought you were going to say
Peony.
I thought you were going to say I read it as Dave would have. But
No, because you would have said Peach Pony or something like that.
yeah, I would have. Thank you very much for the gifted membership. Thank you very much for the 87 Swedish krona. Okay, but so this is, remember what he said was he's attending football games, sporting events, and taking pictures. This is literally somebody else posting this stuff, and he's literally just
Sean Pellegrino, don't do TurtleBoy like that. Don't do TurtleBoy like that, Dane Cook. Come on.
zooming in on it and posting it on his blog. All right, so let's go back. Oh, why do I still have Minecraft up?
I did.
So I'm going to listen to this
We're
again.
asking that he, not on his blogs or otherwise, encourage his blog followers to photograph witnesses, their families, their homes, etc. As Your Honor will hear from the evidence presented by the Commonwealth's argument, the defendant has shown up at sports games attended or that were being engaged in by children of witnesses and has made scenes there using loudspeakers, etc. We're asking that he
I don't see any loudspeakers.
Those sports games, school or otherwise, to harass witnesses.
I didn't find any videos or images or even blog posts about him at a sporting event with a loudspeaker. Again, I'm doing a cursory look. I haven't obviously gone through everything. I'm just telling you right now, as of now, I haven't found anything with that.
There's no mention by names or other forms of identification of the witnesses on his blogs, Twitter, YouTube, etc. When I say witnesses, I'm also talking about the victims in this case. The victims in this case all being witnesses is another matter that the Commonwealth.
We've talked about it straight.
Certainly, this would not preclude the defendant from talking about other cases, but not with
I should use my real name.
the witnesses and their family
And
members.
I know the lettering in it would make half the chat convulsing pain.
Well, your last name, I'm sure, but your first name, I feel like I could get.
Yeah, your first name is easy.
Yeah.
Well, now that I know. That's fair.
Knowing is half the battle, David.
That he not contact witnesses, family members, schools, sports teams, coaches, etc. He has done that in the past, Your Honor. That he not photograph or video witnesses at home or work, and that also goes to taping, Judge. And he not contact the place of work of the witnesses or victims.
Okay, so he was he had a loudspeaker and filming himself outside the courthouse, but that's the only loudspeaker that I've seen of anything.
Dennis Leary's
So I
too
will say that,
old.
outside the courthouse.
Did you see
That might be the whole
Spider-
picketing
Amazing
thing. Right?
Spider-Man? He's way too old.
I apologize for the times if there are nine complaints before Your Honor. Some of these facts apply to all. If I could just read that section to the court once.
Yeah, I'm thinking Mark Wahlberg too.
Yeah, that's what I saw.
They got a similar
And
build.
for some reason, they go into the whole Karen Reed thing. We can skip this.
Now,
Yeah,
it's
they like-
interesting that
And
you
that's again
say
just to
Bill
change the
Burr.
judge. Let's mention the.
I don't know about Bill Burr, but it's interesting that you mentioned Bill Burr. It turns out that Bill Burr went to high school with all of the players that were in that house that night. TurtleBoy went through this on one of his live streams. Bill Burr went to high school with all those guys. So I'd be interested to find out what his opinion is in all this, but I'm guessing that if he's asked by anybody where he's at on this stuff, he's going to be like, no comment. He's going to be like, no comment. So, but I think it's interesting that Bill Burr went to high school with all of those guys.
The Karen Reed, which has nothing to do with this.
Well, I mean, only to the extent that there's a criminal case going on and there's witnesses, and this guy's contacting the witnesses in that case, right?
Yeah,
That's how you
and he
need
could
to
say in the Karen
Yeah,
Reed
he's
case.
not going to go there. No way, Krieger Smith.
Alcohol, and leaving the scene of a motor vehicle crash causing death. The indictment alleges that Karen Reed struck the thief with a motor vehicle and left the scene. And the case is currently pending in Norfolk Superior Court as docket number 2282 CR 117. The lead investigator.
Freaking Zoom. I'm here. Has it started yet? Every time I'm in court.
Assigned to the Norfolk State Police Detective Bureau. Trooper Proctor testified before the grand jury and continues to conduct investigative work on the case. Michael Proctor is married to Elizabeth Proctor. Elizabeth is not a witness in the investigation, but a family member, as mentioned in Chapter 268, Section 13B of the General Laws. During the investigation into O'Keefe's death, witnesses were identified, interviewed, and testified before the grand jury. These civilian witnesses were present with O'Keefe and Karen Reed in the hours leading up to O'Keefe's death and his discovery on January 29, 2022. The witnesses include the following. Matthew McCabe was interviewed by investigators.
We don't need that. I'm trying to get to the where he talks about the.
O'Keefe and Reed at the Waterfall restaurant. Julie was with O'Keefe and Reed at the Waterfall restaurant before O'Keefe's death, and she testified to grand jury. Chris Albert, husband of Julie, was first interviewed by investigators on February 10, 2022. Chris was with O'Keefe and Juliana.
Yeah, I think they're just.
They're just listening to witnesses.
Yeah, because Chris and Julia was in that video that we.
Yeah.
Rule of Criminal Procedure 17, directed to Brian Oliver, Verizon, AT&T. Alleged police in the company's phone of the name TurtleBoy. Social media accounts include TV Daily News, X, formerly Twitter.
X, formerly Twitter. Is it officially X now?
Yeah, it's officially X. So I don't know if we is he when we tweet what we're going to say.
How do you pronounce a communication via X these days?
As a case section. Beginning in April 2023, Kenny began posting articles to his website.
There we go. This is
social media accounts where he adopts defense allegations as true and makes personal attacks on civilian witnesses and members of their families and friends. Kenny authors and publishes a blog on the website tvdailynews.com. The website has a series of articles entitled Canton Cover-Up. As of September 28, 2023, at least 164 articles.
No, this is all I did was boost the original audio. That's all I did. This is not VLHammer. I would not put that on him and say this is his.
And have an additional article since that date. Kenny posts weekly videos to YouTube where he discusses Karen Reed and makes statements regarding witnesses. Below are a small selection of the verbal statements made by Karen in these videos that have been posted to followers on a public viewing without being a subscriber or follower.
Yep, I got him.
Episode 594.
Oh, you're talking about. Yeah, you're talking about Scott Conn. That's James Conn's son. Actually not a bad choice. I get that. I could also see Casey Affleck doing it. I could see Casey Affleck pulling it off.
It's not my last trip to Canton. I will be back. I'll be back. Get used to this. These people think, pardon me, these people think I'm fucking around. You haven't seen the last of it. Get used to it. Get used to it at the 119 mark.
Okay, so what he says, these people think I'm effing around, blah, 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 blah. Get used to it. Get used to it. Okay, so I will share now the video. This is 594. Now, I've started this a few minutes earlier than the timestamp that the prosecutor was just talking about because it gives you a little bit more context, right? Obviously, there's no context in what the prosecutor said. So let's take a listen to see what TurtleBoy actually said.
So I'm like, I want to talk to his boss. I'm like, because Michael Proctor never spoke with Michael Trotta, never spoke with Walsh, never spoke with him. And so I'm like, are they there? And I got this lady. My name's Eve. Oh, how do we get in that way? Okay, you guys are running this. Yes, this is the Department of Public Works. Okay, is Michael Trotta in? Okay, my name's Eve Carney from Radio News, and I was also looking for Mr. Walsh. Is he around? Thank you. Is he here? She did not want to work. I've been trying to reach him. So did you leave a message? Yes, he has called back. So okay, well, it's like, you know, he's kind of busy. Oh yeah, you work for Kim. It's like, this is why I hate government employees and government workers. They're just so lazy. Like, nobody wants to fucking work. Because what
I mean, he's not wrong.
Does he have a fucking cell phone?
He's not wrong. He's not wrong at all.
I like his work.
Mind you, I did watch like all of this video. He's been trying to get a hold of these people to ask them questions for a while, and they keep dodging him.
Yeah. How about that? But she knows who I am. Like, she doesn't want to help me out. So I'll play your game.
Yeah, once upon a time, mainstream media journalists were like this too.
Like, oh wait,
I can leave the message. I can leave a message and I'll get it to him.
Now watch this.
Right now.
Watch this.
How do I spell the last name, sir?
Kearney. She goes, how do I spell the last name, sir? She had already written out my first name and spelled it correctly. She knows who I am. She didn't have to ask my first name. She didn't even have to ask what my last name was. She just asked how to spell it. She had already spelled my name. She knows who I am at this point. People are messaging me now and they're saying that she is a friend. She lives in Tim Albert's neighborhood and she is best friends with the Weeks girls, that is McCabe sisters. So this is what we're dealing with here. This is the home cooking.
I will say I don't know the whole story, other than the allegations are that the witnesses are a little more closely tied to each other than they state in their written statements. That's essentially the allegations.
Yeah. Do you see what his shirt? Do you see the shirt he's wearing?
Let's see how. Oh yeah, that was the Google search that the then wife of the potential other suspect Googled that night. How long does it take to die in cold? Right?
It was the sister-in-law. Yeah.
Or the sister-in-law. Yeah. So there's a lot of weird stuff that deserves some questions.
Miss Boy's regular. I'll be back. You haven't seen the last of me because he never called. Walshy never called me today. Trotta never called me. If you think you're going to get rid of me that easily, you're badly mistaken. I will literally sit there all day. All day. We'll order Chinese. I'll make a day of it. I'll just sit there all freaking day because he's got to come back sometime. I'll be like, I've unfinished business. We didn't see Michael Morrissey today. I'll be back. Like, get used to this. Like, these people think I'm fucking around. Like, I'm Mr. Internet guy. And I'm going to sit here and I'm going to write blogs all day. And that's okay. Just writing blogs and just ignore them, whatever. No. I live an hour away. It's not. I got a Lexus now. It's not a problem. It's got great mileage and a good engine. I'll be there in an hour. No problem. Like, I'll get used to it. Get used to it.
Okay. So does that sound a little different than, I just backed this up too, than what we just heard the prosecutor say?
Without being a subscriber or follower and have it archived by investigators. Episode 594. TurtleBoy returns to Canton. This is a video posted shortly after Kearney visited homes of witnesses. This is not my last trip to Canton. I will be back. I'll be back. Get used to this. These people think, pardon me, these people think I'm fucking around. You haven't seen the last of it. Get used to it. Get used to
I
it.
mean,
119 love.
No,
Does that sound the same?
when you see it in the whole context, it's not anything that they're making it out to be.
Right, exactly. And the interesting thing about this, now these are all attorneys on this panel right here, folks. And the interesting thing about this is all of this is going to go to trial. TurtleBoy is not going to plead guilty to these charges. He's already raising plenty of money, and now he's got national news coverage. So people are, I mean, let me see something real quick. Yeah. Now he's gained a couple of thousand more subscribers since his arrest. But I'm sure he'll gain more. And the support that he's already getting is pretty amazing. So he's going to raise enough money for a good defense. Plain and simple. He's going to raise enough money for a good defense. And I don't see what, I mean, if he's got even the most competent or even like a mid-level competency defense attorney, he could still beat these charges. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
I think we got a super dad. Super dad. I think we got a super dad. Super dad. Super dad. Super dad. Dad, 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 dad. I think we got a super dad. I think we got a super dad.
Shopaholic Girl, thank you for the super sticker. I appreciate that so much. Yeah, he's gonna beat these charges. Are so trumped up. It's really ridiculous, and he's got plenty of support. I mean, he's just gonna beat this stuff. I just don't see these charges sticking. And the thing is all of this stuff is going to come out in court. Like, all of this stuff is going to come out in court. He's not going to plead guilty. He's going to plead not guilty, and all of this stuff is going to be like, okay, well, this is what the prosecutor's saying it says, and then this is what was actually said, and this is the context it was said in. You know, you can't just have this pass the gravy and his version of things reading this off being, you know, the evidence. That's not evidence. Evidence is the video itself. His channel's still up. All of his content is still up. He's not hiding anything. At least it doesn't seem to be. So I just don't get it. I don't get what they think they're going to do. But the most damaging thing here, as said in Howie Carr's article, the most damaging thing here is that now the police have access to his sources who he's vowed as a journalist, and maintaining the integrity of a journalist. His sources are now compromised, and this is how they're going to ruin him, because now it's those people are not going to come forward. They're not going to speak up. He's not going to have any. I mean, if they feel like if any sources, any future sources coming forward feel like they're going to be in any danger, they're not going to come forward. So this absolutely compromises him as a journalist and what he needs to function successfully as a journalist.
Yeah, that was my thought.
Can I ask you a question, because I don't know the law? Couldn't his attorney have played the same snippet, which clearly in context shows he said, "I'll be back to ask questions"? There's no threat at all in any of that. The judge should have let him go and said, "This is BS."
Well, this isn't the time and place to have a case dismissed. So this is just the arraignment. This is,
but he's
Andrew, you're being charged with this. And this prosecutor is doing it as he's doing it a little bit as a public service announcement kind of thing. And if the defense counsel was worried about public service announcements, the defense probably could have addressed it, but it's really just a bond hearing.
Yeah, but my problem is he got a bond now for completely made up stuff.
Yeah.
That a judge should have ruled, no, I'm not going to set a bond. I'm not put a gag order on this boy, man, because he didn't do anything wrong. You took everything out of context. You, sir, is a fool. You go back. I'm going to dock your week's pay. Say sorry to the taxpayers.
Yeah, I mean, there could have been a motion to do that. I mean, you could do an oral motion to dismiss generally. I don't know how the court rules work. Like if you're going to do a motion to dismiss, the courts generally say, okay, but first let's have an opportunity to conduct discovery, because while you're saying this doesn't rise to the level, and let's assume everything that this prosecutor just said doesn't rise to the level of intimidating a witness, we don't know what else the prosecutor has. So let's give the prosecutor time to give you all of their evidence, and then you can bring your motion. So that's probably what I would expect from a Michigan court anyways.
Yeah, and again, they got what they wanted. They got the gag order.
Well, he can still, he doesn't have a gag order. He just can't contact them. He can still talk about the case.
And he doesn't have a restraining order, but he just can't talk to them.
Right.
So, and by that amazing question by one of the greatest legal minds ever on YouTube, I'll be jumping off and watching a real football team play some football.
They have American football in Denmark now? That's awesome.
I love this guy.
The Bears.
Jamie, the hatred I have been met with today on the internet, I'm not coming back again.
I'll see you later.
Enjoy your game with your sports.
Oh my God, I love it. So now what they're not saying is that Chicken Palm Charlie tried to file a protection order against TurtleBoy just recently and got shut down by the judge. And then just a couple days later, he gets these charges. And Chicken Palm Charlie being one of the named alleged victims in these charges. So a lot of bullshit here. A lot of bullshit.
Sports balls. Bye, Baker.
Thank you for having me on. See you all later. Bye.
Bye. EC, I'm not saying it's made up. I'm saying it's taken out of context. Yes. So we literally just watched the words out of TurtleBoy's mouth on his stream just after the prosecutor read those words. First of all, the prosecutor skipped a few lines. He also didn't put it in a context, such as he's trying to get in contact with an individual who's not returning his call. So he goes to the office and leaves his name and saying, yeah, I'll be back. Call me. I'm an hour away. Call me. And, those sort of things. So what I'm trying to do here is listen to the actual words in the context. So I will criticize this prosecutor because he absolutely just cherry-picked words. But let's move on to the next segment.
Episode 598.
598.
Apparently, the defense files motion to recuse. This guy, Chris Albert, had his head on the swivel looking for turtle rats.
Yeah, these charges are a joke,
They are
man.
everywhere. You guys should just stop going out in public. It's only going to get worse from here. I know where you all were today. You were in Agawam, weren't you? You guys were at some sort of little league thing in Agawam. Albert's, McCabe's, all you people were there. Just know that there will be no life as normal is over. Life is normal. You had normal for a while there. From January 29th to about April 2023. You guys literally got away with murder.
Because you also got to think, folks.
So that was.
You also got to think, like, what's going to end up happening here is this is picking up more and more momentum, right? So what's happening here is the more momentum this picks up, reporters, mainstream media reporters are going to look at this as an attack on them. You know what I mean? Like an attack on a reporter is an attack on them. An attack on their First Amendment rights is an attack on an attack on TurtleBoy's First Amendment rights is an attack on their First Amendment rights. Does that make sense? So he's going to get a lot of good press, right? And what these people are going to end up doing, since they're so invested, once they become so invested, they're going to look into TurtleBoy's channel, which is still up, and all of his content is still up, and they're going to compare what this prosecutor is trying to pitch to the judge as probable cause and how it's being cherry-picked, and compare it to his actual content and the context in which he delivers it versus the context in which the prosecutor here, past the Gravy Morrissey, is presenting it. So this is very fascinating to me. I'm really looking forward to this. I'm really looking forward to seeing how this plays out. Because there's no way that this is going to hold up in a trial, dude. There's just no way. I mean, I feel like even a fucking public defender could could defend against this bullshit and get these charges dropped, get him acquitted. Absolutely. You're never going to get 12 people to you're never going to get 12 people to convict this guy. 12 people on a jury, it's never going to happen. Okay? And also, the only reason that I feel that I would fear a public defender defending him, which isn't going to happen, by the way, but if a public defender, the only reason that I would fear a public defender not doing a good enough job to defend TurtleBoy, like I said, is not going to happen. But hypothetically, if it were to happen, the only reason I would worry about it is because they're getting their paychecks from the same place the prosecutors are getting. You know what I mean? They have the same bosses, pretty much overall. So that would worry me. You know, since you know these are totally trumped up charges, then yeah, that would concern me. But again, that's totally hypothetical, and it's not going to happen. I'm absolutely certain that TurtleBoy has enough support and is going to at least get one decent, aggressive defense attorney to beat these charges. And hopefully humiliate this DA for the shit that he's trying to pull here. So I'm actually looking forward to that. But guys, I am going to wrap this up now. I'm going to pick up more on this because I do like to hear the perspective of actual attorneys. So I'm going to continue to stream this video probably tomorrow, hopefully tomorrow. We're going to discuss a little bit more. And because I want to hear more from attorneys as far as what TurtleBoy's chances are in court, and we know the chances are good, but I like to hear why, and I like to hear that from people who are well versed in the law. So I'm going to explore that a little bit more. I hope you guys join me, and I really appreciate you guys joining me today. Again, if you guys want. If you're not familiar with the Karen Reed case and all of the facts involved, the description to the spreadsheet that was made by Sleuthy Goosey that has all of the facts and all of the documents that you need in that case, read those. If you're not very well versed in those, watch Chasing Truth. Follow her. That would be Tracy Ann Chasing. She and Deets on the Streets and Gavel Geeks, they are doing an amazing job covering this, and they just got started. So make sure to check them out. They did their first stream on this case today, and it's on Tracy Ann Chasing's channel. So make sure to check that out. If you prefer not to go through all of the documents and make your own decision, but I can guarantee you that they are at least 90%. It's going to be 90% facts. You might hear a little bit of opinions here and there, but you're going to get all of the facts and have the option to make your own opinions. Absolutely 100%. So just make sure to sub up to them and check that out. Because they have been following this case from the very beginning, and they're just now, they have put together a very they worked really hard to put together a presentation, and they're gonna go through, I mean, everything. They have every intention of going through everything. So make sure to check them out. But guys, I am going to wrap this up. A big shout out to Duty Ron and all of his mods that were in the chat. And make sure to sub up to Duty Ron, and prayers that Summer Wells is found and brought home safe. And yeah, Last Ronin, you're a little late. Sorry. I've been up here for 3 hours. But guys, I really appreciate you guys joining me, all of the new subs, everybody who came in and supported with your super chats. and any other way that you chose to support monetarily is greatly appreciated. Thank you guys for hitting the like. Thank you guys for subscribing. I really, really, really appreciate it. I love you guys very, very much. And we will do this again very soon, my friends.